All right, everyone. Thank you for joining me here today. We have a very special interview with TheViper, one of AoE's most prolific players. So I asked some of your fans to, just give me an overview of your time in the AoE scene, because I've only been here for about a year, and you've been here for like forever, since you were like
Some of my
diapers.
fans? What does that even mean? You asked some of my fans. Who do I ban? Tell me.
Listen, I can't call any names. Somebody actually sent me a 1500 word essay here on your entire AoE career. But
Overlay says Nelly.
I will not be reading the entire thing, but I did manage to do a bit of a summary here. So, so just before I begin, the interview format is very simple. I'll read an overview of your career, and then we'll just ask you about, you
Sorry? Does it matter? Sorry.
it's
Your
all right.
overlay apparently says Nilly. Very important.
Ah, yeah. I mean, we kind of nearly feeling your thunder.
I don't mind being Nilly. It's fine.
I just have to. I'll just remove. You don't need it. We don't need your name. We know who you are.
I'm Nilly. It's fine. I'll be Nilly today.
Thank you, chat, for the bit of correction there in the overlay. All right. Yeah. So the format, it's fairly simple. I'll read an overview of your career, and I'll just ask you some questions and get a bit more intimate with Mr. The Viper.
Ooh.
Yeah. And okay. So the Viper started playing AoE following in the footsteps of his father and uncle. He began as a Voobly custom scenario player, then moved to Land Nomad team games. He started playing 1v1 seriously around 2010. He joined the RVK clan in 2011, where he was a bench player for Ryut and Jordan. The Viper was scouted to join the Tyrant clan after they bested RVK in the World Clan League 7, which was AoE's biggest tournament at the time. There, the Viper played alongside Dalt, Halen, and Grunt, who were considered legends in the game. In 2012, the Viper started sweeping up tournament victories, and that is when he began being recognized as, a leading AoE player. Jordan and the Viper starts a bit of a rivalry around this time, which culminates into the Duel of the Century show match, where Jordan won a 21 set, 11 to 10 against the Viper. In 2016, the Viper streaming career starts to pick up, and he enters his golden age between 2017 and 2019. Other than a single defeat by Leary, he wins every other tournament he enters in 2017. He continues this impressive performance in 2018 and 2019. The Viper currently has dozens of tournament wins and even more placements in top three. He's considered by many to be the best player to ever touch the game. He's also one of AoE's most prolific content creator with 177,000 followers on Twitch and 277,000 subscribers on YouTube. Everybody, welcome Mr. The Viper. Welcome, The Viper.
That was a that was a hell of an introduction.
Yeah.
Whoever wrote that, by the way, did some mistakes, but we'll let that
Goddamn.
slide.
Every time. Well, we'll clear up the misconceptions as we get into the interview. Just be lucky I didn't read out the whole 1500 word essay. Yeah.
I'm really curious who wrote that.
I mean, I could tell you. I don't think it's a secret. Tarsus.
Oh, Tarsus is banned. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I'm sorry about
Yeah.
that, Tarsus. I apologize, but it is how it is. Okay, so you have a very long career in the AoE scene. As the intro said, you started off playing with your dad and your uncle. How old were you when you started?
I mean, I started. My dad was playing the game obviously when I was like 9, 10 years old. So that's when I first played it. Um, but obviously I was super casual and I didn't really understand too much. So 9, 10 is probably when I touched the game for the first time. But I didn't really commit to the game until like I mean, I played the game on and off for a long time, but that was more scenarios and such. But in 2010 is kind of when I commit to the game.
Okay. And like around that time when you were deciding, you're gonna take AoE a bit serious, what was some of your thoughts? Like what sparked that inspiration for you to get into the AoE scene so hardcore?
Well, it was never begun as serious, so to say. I saw my like I lived away from where I grew up for almost a year, and then when I moved back home, I saw my dad play Age of Empires again, and I was like, oh, I remember I love that game, right? So I started playing it a bit more, and it was still casual to a certain extent. I mean, I played a lot, but it was still without ambitions. I wasn't trying to like become good or anything. I just played Land Nomad for the most part, hours and hours every day, and eventually I joined a tournament. There was a 1v1 Arabia tournament, and I had like a 2,000 rating in on Woobly then, but I was only playing Land Nomad. Back then we had 1v1 and team games all shared the same rating.
Right.
So I had like a 2,000 rating, and then I lost to a 1,600 in 1v1 at the tournament.
Oh
So that
no.
was kind of a like a wow. Just because I am okay on Land Nomad doesn't mean I'm actually good at the game. So since then, it kind of was a realization that I'm not actually good at the game. So I need to, if I want to be better, I need to actually invest focused training, so to say.
Yeah, we all know that feeling. So when you started with the RVK clan, was that when you started to get serious in the game?
No, RVK was more of a result of me getting more serious in the game.
Right.
Because so I started obviously playing more and more one-on-ones, like say mid late 2010, and I quickly became pretty good. I would say, like maybe lurking around like top 30, top 20 region, and then World Clan League 7 was announced, which was Tyrant coming into the scene, and RVK needed a fourth player then, which was obviously Jordan, Riot, and Doubt. No, not Doubt. Jordan, Riot, and Dugao.
Right.
And they needed a fourth player, and yeah, it was obviously back then they were all better than me, and for me it was huge to be asked by them to join. So RVK was more of a result of me getting better rather than
Right, right.
the other way around.
Yeah, it's I saw when I was reading the thing, you had a bit of a reaction when I said you were the bench player for RBK. Is that true? Is that something we gotta clear up?
Now, initially, I was a bench player for RVK. Like, well, bench player, so it's a brutal word, but
Pass his word
I
sometimes.
was a yeah, I was behind in the pecking order. Um, and I think it was justified. I think I was probably on most maps they were better than me, but I was maybe better on water maps than most of them. But yeah, it was justified back then that I was a bench player, so to say.
Okay. And according to, well, I guess Tassis here, you got recognized by the Tyrant clan like after a big tournament with RVK.
Hmm.
What was that like getting recognized by them and eventually getting into their, team?
Yeah, so the recognition was more from Cab. Obviously, I trained a bit with Cab in team games before World Clan League 7. So even then, like after the tournament, he said he didn't understand why I didn't play more. So that was obviously a bit cool for me. Like just Cab is like one of the biggest legends of the game of all time. So to have that guy like tell me that like I should have played more and things like that was pretty like a confidence boost for me. And then after World Clan League 7, when Tyrant did win that, um, Cab, well, obviously, so Grunt and Halen were gonna stop playing. So I never played with them in theory. Like I never teamed with them. So they were stopping to play, and therefore Tyrant needed two new players, and that's where Cab went for me and Jordan in that case. So that's kind of how that played out.
Okay. And so it's a bit of so there's a big rivalry between you and Jordan during this time. How did that rivalry start to begin? What sparked it?
The thing with me and Jordan is that we were also like the closest friends in the community as well, right? For me, the best friend in H was Jordan, and vice versa. The rivalry pretty much came from being the best at the game, I would say. Uh, there was nothing else besides that. It was just that we both were kind of really good players, and we both were competing for at the top for tournament victories, for being like called the best player and things like that. So that's kind of the rivalry. Um, Nothing else really sparked that than just both of us having a really high level.
And now I know that from kind of following you, on Twitter and on Twitch, I know you're known as a guy who's able to just keep his cool in between defeats. Now you did lose a very big and obviously noteworthy event where the Duel of the Century, I think it was called,
Mhm.
against Jordan. Like even back then, were you just as cool headed as ever, or like did that sort of it's kind of affect you and how you think about yourself in the pro scene in the game?
It didn't. The last map, like it was 10-10, right? It's like as close as it gets.
Right.
The last map was also I would say he had a Civ win in theory for that map because it was a full random or mega random or light random, something like that. So he had a Civ win in theory, but on the other hand, my map was way better than his, and I had a way better opening. So the fact that he won that game in the end was definitely 100% deserved. But like for me, 11-10, I didn't like suddenly feel like, oh, that sucks. It was obviously I would have liked to win, but it didn't really affect me in any way. Um, no, I was just happy with the show match altogether. It was a really cool best of 21, and as you said, people still call it like the best event or best series that has been played till today. I don't even remember many of the games. I haven't rewatched that probably ever, so I don't really remember how everything played out. I just remember the last game, and yeah, no, it's a cool thing that still I've been a part of, right? Even though I didn't win.
Nice. So this was back in 2012, and by mine, there's a big gap between 2012 and 2016, which is considered the beginning of the Viper era of Age of Empires. Did anything of note happen between 2012 and 2016?
I think people consider earlier like the Viper era, if you want to put it like that. I
We're
don't
putting
like
it
those
like that.
words,
We're putting it like
but like I think people consider me at least top two since 2011, late 2011. But Viper era, I don't know. What was the question here again?
like between 2012 and 2016, if there was anything of
Oh,
like
anything
note that
already
happened
happened.
between those years.
You mean as to spark the Viper era, so to say?
Yeah, the Spark 2016 at like a definitive moment is
No.
when, because that's when your Twitch career started to take off, I think. 2016.
So if I need to think a little bit here. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, nothing really special happened. I mean, I continued to compete in tournaments and everything throughout all that time, but I wouldn't say anything special happened. Nothing noteworthy that I can think of, at least.
Okay. And if I could ask you a bit more about your streaming career. So on
Hmm.
Twitch at 177,000 followers, that's I think you're I think only T90 has higher numbers than that.
I wouldn't know. I don't
Okay.
really look at those things,
That's
but obviously it's a
fine. Of
huge
course,
number.
it's not important, but of course, you're one of the top streamers in the AOE scene, even on Twitch. Um, I guess I just want to know more about like those early days for you.
Hmm.
Because I suppose that would be a part of how you're able to sustain yourself as a esports your esports career. What was it like? Just sort of, did you immediately know you wanted to like stream full time, or did it start off as just like a hobby thing for you?
So my first stream ever was probably even 2012 or 13, where I played like I turned on the stream now and then. It was more to just like I wanted to show people how I played and things like that because I thought it was good and I wanted to show off. But obviously, then also I never ever thought that this would be like my livelihood in any way back then. But in 15, 16, like 2015, 2016, I was kind of at a path where I was like trying to figure out what do I actually want to do with my life. Delving a little bit into like trying to learn some coding, things like that, because my dad does coding for a living. But I realized fast that I don't really have the patience to sit down and learn all these languages and whatnot.
Oh,
Okay, I'm gonna
oh,
start streaming a little bit more again.
oh, you tuned out for a second there,
Are we
but
there?
no, you
Oh,
you
okay.
went silent for a few seconds there. But okay, so you got into the
Oh,
streaming thing. Oh, yeah, no, I could hear you now. Okay, no, I can't hear you again. Is it?
I'm not sure if it's me or you.
Yeah. Well, I hear you now, so let's just hope that it continues that way.
Yeah,
All right.
for me, it kind of just comes and goes.
Yeah, okay. Oh, do I come and go for you? Oh, hey, that's weird. Cause all right, and now you just went again, but now you're back. Okay, well, we'll try to continue as best as we can with So if I can ask you, Twitch as a career, is it something you see yourself, doing until your retiring days, or is it for you just you know, just a chapter in your overall working career?
Like for me, it's always been a thing that I don't really know, right? Right now, I would love to keep streaming for a long, long time, but at the same time, streaming is still such a fresh business. Like even 10 years ago, from like 10 years ago, thinking about making a living out of streaming was not much. A lot of people couldn't do that.
Right.
So it's still a super fresh business and industry, and I really don't know how it's going to play out, right, for the next 5 years, next 2 years, next 10 years, even, right? Right now, we don't really have like if you look at Twitch channels, obviously since this spiked the last couple of years, you don't have people in their 60s, 50s, 60s streaming, right? Of course, there are people that stream, but no one
Right.
has grown old in the
Yeah. No
business,
boomer
right?
streams yet.
Yeah, so it's like it's really hard to predict how this is actually gonna play out. But like, could I imagine myself streaming 20 years from now? I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna be like 50 years old, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna be entertaining or what we're gonna be able to play, things like that. So, this is just one of those things that I'm open to seeing how everything plays out, but I
Right.
don't really have a good perspective of how long this will last or so.
Yeah. Okay. And like, what's your, I mean, I'm sure, somebody in your position, you love streaming, you love just being able to have this as a career and something that you can do, and sort of set your pace of your life. But do you want to speak maybe a bit more to like what streaming means to you personally?
What it means to me personally, tough question.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something I obviously enjoy. Like for me now, if I sit down and play Age of Empires, for example, without streaming, it's not the same anymore, right? It's kind of become a part of Age of Empires for me, and even video games as a whole. Certain games are just way more fun when you're streaming as well because you get to interact with the chat. You have like, in my case, I'm fortunate enough to have thousands of people watching me play, and that's obviously a blessing and a curse sometimes. But it's like I'm very what's the word? I'm very fortunate in that regard. So um, I don't know. Obviously, it's my livelihood as well now. It's something I love doing, and it means a lot. The fact that I think the biggest thing about streaming is the fact that you can only stream for a living if people want you to, because you cannot stream for a living unless people support you.
Right.
And that's the kind of thing that is the that's special for me about streaming. It's the fact that yeah, that's pretty much it. I need my community to be able to do this, and I'm fortunate enough that my community wants me to do it, and yeah, very lucky.
Yeah. Okay. So and that's pretty good. And I've had experience where I've spoken to, I mean, you, Kara, Nelly. I mean, each of you have like, very big audiences, and I'm sure you're very appreciative of the community that you've been able to, grow and foster, over these years. But it is interesting. There's a theme where there's sort of like a sort of reluctance to be a celebrity, or to like fully embrace the Viper as a celebrity. I guess I want to ask, what are your thoughts about being a celebrity on Twitch and Age of Empires?
Celebrity. I don't consider myself a celebrity. Obviously when we had these meetups or like my first wow moment was when I went to China, and I remember like because they had like a hall there where like with seats and the scene and everything where you could watch the tournament play out. And when I entered that area, so to say, there were probably like 50 Chinese people there already in the seats. And I just noticed when I entered, everyone kind of turned and stared at me, and I just walked along the edge of the hall to get to the stage, and I just everyone was staring at me. It just felt so awkward because obviously I'm not used to that at all. And then 1 minute later, because I went to the stage, I talked to the people there, and then 1 minute later, a guy comes, like taps me on the shoulder, and is like, "Here, can you sign this for my daughter?" I'm like, "Okay." So I was like, "Oh yeah, sure, sure, sure." And then like when I accepted his like to sign his thing, suddenly like everyone came and lined up, and suddenly it was like a line of 20 people standing there wanting pictures, signatures, and everything. And that was just like, of course, back then it was super cool. Like I felt so cool when I was there. But celebrity is a bit big, but obviously when I'm in these Age of Empires events and such, there is a lot of attention and a lot of people wanting a piece of me, so to say. It can be really cool. Obviously, I'm really happy and when I get this positive attention, but it can also be a bit tiring sometimes. Like I remember NAC, it was maybe NAC one. There was the meet and greet. I arrived on location. I think I stood 2 or 3 hours in a row and just taking pictures, talking with people and
Wow.
such. Like it's really tiring. But obviously it's not every day, so it's something I'm happy to do. And but yeah, being a celebrity in Age of Empires is I don't consider myself a celebrity in any way, but still, of course,
Yeah.
it's fun and cool with the attention and meeting so many nice people.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. But I mean, as we established, there are people who have been following your career since like 2012. People who have
Yeah,
is that about a decade now? It's like for almost a decade, has had you as, somebody in their social space, I want to say. Um, I mean, your fans on your stream, the people who follow you closely, what's the sort of relationship between you and them like? Is it, do you like fully embrace the fans on your stream, or is it like you sort of always want to keep like a distance and, there's
I wouldn't say like I'm not close friends or like friends with anyone in general. Like it's not like I have daily interactions with my viewers and things like that outside of streaming. Obviously, it's just like a streamer's relationship with his chat with his audience, right? I interact with them on Discord, on social media, on my stream and everything. Um, what is the relationship right like? I don't really know how to describe it. It's just I embrace the love and commitment between us and the memes we create and the good atmosphere my stream
nice.
had. Like I always feel like my stream is a real positive atmosphere and environment, and that's something I'm really happy that has become a thing. Because I feel like it also, whenever people come to my stream, I think they will also feel that it's a positive place to be in. We don't want negativity. We don't want toxicity. We don't want
Right.
anything like that there. So yeah, I really appreciate that part about my community, so to say.
Okay. Okay, very good. I was on Reddit earlier, just sort of preparing the pre-interview questions, for the Q&A. Um,
Hmm.
and there was a post here, and somebody tagged me in it. They were drawing attention to the fact that you had some health-related issues, which has caused you not to compete in some tournaments recently. And well, first of all, they wanted me to let you have the love and support of the Reddit community, who support you, and they hope you get better and get through what you're currently struggling. Do you want to talk a bit more about, you know, that, if it's not too personal a question to ask?
Oh, it's fine. Obviously, like things like this can't be personal because it's my stream and my career path is built around my persona in Age of Empires and my competitiveness in Age of Empires. So they also deserve to know if there are things like this. So I've been having some wrist issues now for maybe 2 years, maybe 2.5 years. I don't remember when it started, but yeah, I kind of just like dealt with it my own way for the first year and a half, 2 years maybe, like by trying to just keep it still, wearing my like these wrist support thingies that I did by myself. Never went to a doctor or anything. But yeah, obviously, since I didn't take well enough care, it got worse over time, and to the point where it was like, okay, I think it makes sense to just go to a doctor and check it out, right? So I had an MRI and everything. They scanned it, and I have a benign tumor in my wrist, which is causing some tiredness and discomfort and whatnot. But for the most part, it has always been bearable. It's been fine, as long as I just gave it a little bit of rest now and then. It's always been fine. I've never felt like it has hindered my performance or gameplay. The
Right.
only thing it has hindered has been my ability to grind like for hours and hours, and also like put in the heavy workload in forms of training. I can't train like 8 hours straight, 5 days in a row, for example, right? It's been more like portions here and there. But yeah, so I think the reason why it's like gotten attention again now
All
is
right.
because on Sunday, which is yeah, yesterday, was it yesterday? Maybe it was Saturday. I don't remember either way, but I had to stop the stream and I had to pretty much forfeit my participation in the Empires Showdown charity tournament. Yeah, that was the first time I've ever felt like shit, like this issue. This is an issue, because I just couldn't play comfortably, and yeah, that's a little bit of a like a how to say it eye opener a little bit. So it obviously sucks. I'm gonna get another appointment with the doctor to see what they say. But for the time being, I think at this point it's like I'm not even sure if I will play a single game until my tournament begins, which is in like 3 weeks.
Right.
So I might only be doing like casting and like playing with left hand and things like that for like 3 weeks now, just to give it some rest and hopefully be able to perform in my own tournament. And after that, I might again try to just. Of course, it will depend what the doctor says as well, but I will take like probably a longer break from playing. Um, Obviously, I don't want to take any breaks or anything. I would love to just keep going at it, but I think at this point, it's like if I want to have any chance of kind of saving my competitive career at least, I think I have to take some serious precautions now. Like I said, yesterday was a little bit of an eye opener for me. So I'm gonna try to be very careful going forward. It's not really too much to do except give it time and see what happens and ask for the professional opinions.
Okay. So, I mean, it sounds like you're taking it in good spirits and you're doing as much as you can. So I guess it does, sort of beg the question, should there be any sort of serious complication or even just, um, something small that does affect your ability to play as often, have you already begun thinking about the next steps for yourself? Is it that you always want to be involved in AoE in some capacity, even if it's not like at the number one spot playing professionally, or do you think you want to get started getting involved in other things?
My focus will be entirely on like getting good again or like getting well again so I can keep competing. There's no thoughts about stopping to compete and going like full casting mode or anything else. I wanna get well and I wanna play Age and I wanna win things.
You heard it here first, folks. Viper is a fight. I don't know. Maybe you said it on your stream. I don't know why I said that. Viper is a fighter. The snake is always gonna be in that grass, ready to pounce on you. You think he's gonna be out? He's gonna show up with one hand on one mouse, and sweep tournaments again. And that's very good to hear.
Hope so.
That's some sort of fighting spirit, that people love in the AoE community. So I'm very glad to
Of course.
hear that. Yeah. So of course, in a well-rounded interview, we have to, look at is my fan in the back here, Sean? Just give me 1 second.
Sure.
Okay. Whatever. Just have to deal with that. Yeah, so in a well-rounded interview, we got to look at the good with the bad. I mean, you've been around for 2 decades now, so nobody is without their fair share of controversies. I've only been around for a year, and the only thing I've ever seen you embroiled in really is the Bitcoin scenario that happened a few months earlier. I mean, I don't know if I want to rehash it because I know you and Nelson sort of went into that in depth. Um,
Hmm.
but was that your first like real big controversy in the AOE and Twitch scene?
Well, negative controversy probably. I mean, I like the move to Mixer as well was probably a little bit of a controversy in many ways, but not in the same form like this.
Right.
Uh, yeah, I guess it was. It was probably the one that the first like proper negative backlash. Um, so yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't really want to rehash the whole thing, but what sort of you learned from that experience, or what did it reveal to you about yourself or even the community?
I've definitely like for I think for the future that was just a clear thing for me that now like I don't think I would ever take any type of sponsorships in that direction ever again. In the direction of endorsing a money losing opportunity potential, right? Of course, there would be a chance that he would make money as or whoever did it would make money, but it's also a chance that they would lose a lot of money. So it's like I don't think I would ever endorse or take part in anything like that, even though I have personal interest in something like that. Like for me as well, I like I had a poker sponsored poker stream as well a while back, and a lot of people were like a lot of people. Some people were not happy with that, but it's like
Right.
to a certain point, people have to be responsible for themselves in many way. We're in an adult world, but of course, at the same time, I don't want to be a guy endorsing. Like it's a bit about what I my community is what is the reason why I'm here. I'm allowed to do these things. I don't want to put them in danger, and the fact that anyone thought that I did this deliberately. That now, first of all, like I don't, I still to this day I have no idea if that coin was a scam or not, or if it is or whatever it was. But just in case it was, it made sense for me to back out. And I would never deliberately do anything like that. Like I get for my like to my community because again they are the reason I'm here and I owe them everything. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's a I pretty much learned to think two, three, four, and five times about sponsorships.
I mean that's good. We live and we learn. And based on the feedback that I've seen online, it seems like most people sort of see you as like a genuine fella, and you know you're believed when you say you didn't intend to cause any harm. And it's pretty good to be able to cultivate that sort of reputation for yourself on the internet of all places, where everybody is just like a villain and everybody hates everyone. So it's I think that's one of like your underscored achievements as well, just being able to be like a positive personality in the space. And as you mentioned, Mixer, yeah, I think you when I started playing AoE, it's about the time
Hmm.
you came back onto Twitch. So all I heard
Hmm.
was like, yeah, this Viper guy, he's back on Twitch. And I was like, okay, that sounds good. So for people like me who missed that whole fiasco, what was that about?
So when did I even join Mixer? Was it like it was shortly before DE was released. So I think mid mid July 2019, June 2019. Okay, June 2019. Um, so I was in a stage where I was kind of like I was losing a little bit of motivation. I didn't feel the passion for streaming as much as I had. Um, so for me, it was like more of a like I wanted a new challenge, and Mixer was a perfect opportunity for that. Um, I was made a lot of promises by Mixer in terms of what Age of Empires would do for me while I was there. Most of those promises were not held. It's my own fault though because I didn't actually get anything on paper. It was more words to probably lure me over. But yeah, I still had a great time on Mixer. It was obviously a streaming platform like Twitch was, and for me it was a new challenge, new like I had to kind of start from scratch again, and I really embraced that challenge, and I did enjoy it. There were some problems overall, like there were some problems throughout the year, but it was still fine. But yeah, for me, it was a good challenge. I think I would have done it every single time if I had the choice again, just because of what it meant to me as a in terms of like sparking the motivation and fire in my belly again to like for streaming and everything.
Right.
But yeah, that was pretty much it. A lot of people didn't like that I left Twitch because they preferred Twitch, which makes sense. And yeah, I mean, I came back after a year, and I think it was for me and my career, it was definitely the right choice at that point. I think.
Okay. I mean, I remember when Ninja, when he had left, when Mixer had shut down and Ninja was leaving, and there's this question of, will these big streamers be able to cultivate back their audience after so many people felt deserted? And I think it's probably pretty good to just be able to have the knowledge that yeah, my community pretty much has my back, no matter where I do in my career. And I think that's
Yeah.
that's gonna be valuable knowledge for you as you continue and you make your career moves for the future.
I mean,
Um,
that's also like even when I went to Mixer, I could tell quite fast. Like, I mean, first couple of streams had like 400 or 500 viewers, which wasn't that much, right? But this was also shortly before DE was released. And if you actually look at the numbers and like how many people are on the platform, like on Mixer versus Twitch back then, I
right,
think it was still really good numbers. And yeah, obviously when I came back to Twitch, like when I left Twitch, I was probably averaging like 1,500 viewers on my stream, and then I came back to a whole different world of Twitch, right? Suddenly I was averaging 4,000 viewers, and that's quite a jump. Obviously, it's correlated with the release of DE, so I was expecting some sort of increase, but to reach the point where, like, even I think one of the latest months I was even averaging over 5,000 viewers, and that's absolutely insane.
right.
Something I would never ever expect. So, yeah, no, it's cool to have such a big audience and so many people supporting you. It's a blessing.
Yeah. Oh, before we continue, I just like to give a thank you to Debbie who's holding down the chat for me right now. I just want to remind everyone, as Debbie has reminded you, we'll have the questions at the end. So save your questions for the end of the interview. Yeah. So oh, okay. So
All right,
Mr. The Viper. Uh,
AC needs to go on.
yeah. So Mr. The Viper, I want to go a bit
Hmm.
into your tournament, history. We sort of glossed it over. Do you know offhand how many tournament wins you have in total? I'm
Well,
guessing
I
no.
mean, it depends on how many what we count every single tournament. No idea.
Yeah.
No idea.
I mean, I was attempting like tally it before, but like I was on Wikipedia and there's just like so much rows of tournament first, second, and third. It's like this is gonna be impossible. We just say dozens, okay? Um,
I actually think AOE like esports earnings or something would have like a total.
yeah, but I didn't want to like
Like,
go into like how much money you
I'm
make and
curious
all that.
myself now that you bring that
Yeah.
now that you mention it.
Yeah, well, God, you're
Like,
curious.
I kind of want to check quickly.
Yeah.
The Viper. Let's see. Okay, so 110 tournaments. What the hell?
110 tournaments. Yeah, so I was wrong. It's not
That's what it
dozens, it's
says.
hundreds.
That's probably also team year tournaments as well, though. And obviously, it counts every single
That
small, tiny
counts.
tournament in there. So,
Those
but
counts,
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a few.
Yeah. What have been some of your most like memorable tournament memories? Memorable
Uh,
memories.
for me, always the best memories comes from LAN tournaments, like NECs. ECL was fantastic. Maldives were great. The Gamescom event was fantastic. But those are the ones that stand out to me because they're obviously they're LAN events. You get to meet people, you get to meet your friends that you made online, viewers in chat. You see like you see a face, you see a name in chat. Suddenly you're able to put a face on that name as well. So like the LAN events are always the ones that stands out for me. Um, NAC is probably the best one. ECL was great. Yeah.
Okay, nice. was there any like specific defining tournament for you that sort of, well, you mentioned the time you lost to that 1600 guy on one movie. But other than that, was there any like tournament that made you think like, oh, you know what? I gotta do this more intensely.
I do this more intensely. I don't really think so. I am very competitive. I might not come off as super competitive most of the times during my streams, but when the actual tournaments are happening, I'm extremely competitive. Um, so I would pretty much enter every tournament that I really want to win with that mindset that I really want to win this. And I don't think I ever have the mindset of like, I never left the tournament feeling like, oh damn, I really need to do this more intensely.
Right,
Um, there's been some times where I haven't prepared well enough, but that's been obviously for tournaments that I haven't valued as highly as I should. But so in those cases, I guess you can say yes, I need to do better. I need to do more. But I think my mindset doesn't allow that to happen. Pretty much.
right. And well, of course, as Tarsus, told us there's been a golden era of the Viper. And right now the AoE scene has, a lot more people competing for that number one spot than I think it probably did a few years ago. Um, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to ask you like, how do you feel, about not being number one, but you've had some notable tournament missteps in recently. Is there any do you have any thoughts about that in general?
Not really. I mean, the point where I feel myself that that I don't play well enough to have a chance of winning events, that's probably if to the point where I would start feeling bad about things. But as long as I still feel like I can put in the performance to beat anyone, uh, I don't really have I don't really worry about that. So I guess the answer is no to that question.
Okay. Well, I mean, it certainly sounds like you have a very good attitude towards, competing. Just always about doing your best and just making sure you're in there and giving it your all. And I think that's a lesson we can all learn. I lost like three 1v1s before this interview. And I was like so pissed off. I was like, God damn. I'm like, I 1200. What am I doing losing to all these scrubs at my elo, But
Dude,
it is what it is.
you know what I had? I had a revelation in like when I was starting to play Age like and try to compete and get good.
Yeah.
I um I got I wouldn't say mad, but I got upset and frustrated with losses when I tried my best to win. It's obviously a natural thing to do, but I at some point I just kind of realized, you know what? If I lost, I probably did something wrong myself, right? I don't have to find something to blame, like oh I had a bad map or this or that or that. There's in Age of Empires with such a like the random map generation and everything. There's always something you can do yourself to improve your situation and have a chance at winning. Now, of course, you will have a lot of situations where you probably have a worse civilization, you have a worse map, this and that, this and that. But no matter what, there's always things you could have done in a lost game where you would have, which would have improved your odds. And at some point, I just kind of just realized, you know what? It doesn't make sense to get upset or frustrated about anything because every loss, in my opinion, at this point, is a chance to learn. And a lot of times, you will know why you lost when you lose a game, and that's fine because that's another opportunity to learn. And
Right.
every game is that. Of course, it sucks to lose games. You want to win games. It's easy to get frustrated, but if you
Yeah.
just enter that mindset where you, after a game, realize that I just realized a lot now, but just like see it for what it is, right? You lost a game, that's fine, but it's you can take some from it every time. Every time you lose, you can take something from it, and you can improve for the next time.
Okay, wise words. So, I mean, at some point in the interview, I always ask the pro players, like, to there's some secret sauce, like, give us the keys, give us the keys to success, Piper. For the noobs of the world like me watching, like, do we just need to do 10 Arabia every day and then, go and chant in the corner, go and meditate in the morning? Give
Do
us,
some
give us a
yoga,
secret.
eat vegan. No,
Oh, okay.
I don't think there is any. There's no secret ingredient or anything. It's Like some people will be more talented than others. Some people will have an easier way to success. Other people just have a ceiling depending on their life, how much time they can dedicate to the game and so forth. And that's just kind of where you have to like accept sometimes that yeah, I don't have the time or energy to put into this game to become as good as I would like to be. But that's the beautiful thing about Age of Empires as well is that no matter your level, you can have a lot of fun and playing the game in so many different ways. Team games, 1v1, scenarios, whatever. You can always find some way to be enjoying the game. So
So
yeah,
are
no,
you
there's
really
no secret ingredient.
are you really telling me just how it worked, the Viper? That's
Yes,
I did not I can't one trick my way to 1600. Just tell me to pick
you
prank. Tell
can
me to pick pranks and I'll do it.
you can. Oh yeah, pick Franks and make axe throwing thingies. Absolutely.
Okay, that's
No, but I mean, you just as long as you enjoy the game, then you can have different goals in the game, right?
right.
If your ambition is to get better, you have a lot of ways to do that. It's in the end, it's up to how much time and effort and interest you have into doing that and pursuing that.
Okay, very nice. Wise words there. Okay, so at this point, I sort of want to ask you about, the different AoE personalities, in which you would have come across over the years. I think, well, the first is, as mentioned at the start of your bio, your dad and your uncle, PKZ,
Hmm.
legendary AoE figure. I think Nilly, mentioned in the last interview that, he was very instrumental in keeping the AoE scene and community alive, over the past 2 decades, and especially with the AoE zone. He also did decline to interview with me, by the way, which is, I mean, if you could just like put in a word
He
for your
declined an
boy.
interview with you.
Well, I know he said, it's not really his jam, which was like, all right. He said he liked the
Okay.
interview, but it's not really his jam. But yeah, since we can't speak to him, I guess you'll have to sort of tell us a bit about him first.
Well, obviously, he's had a love for Age of Empires for since almost I was born. Well, I guess as far back as I can remember, he's been liking Age of Empires. Um, yeah, I don't really know. Obviously, I owe him a lot in terms of that I'm here playing this game and doing what I'm doing right now because my interest came from him naturally, and he's also given me the room and tools to be able to play Age of Empires in many ways. So obviously, I owe him a lot in that regard. But no, he's always been interested in like I've never really been I never followed the competitive scene or anything when I was younger. Only like in 2010 I started following the competitive scene, and the reason why I found the competitive scene was because he has a Wii Zone. I wasn't
Right.
even aware back then that he was running a Wii Zone or anything. Obviously, I wasn't even aware of the site, but I think there was when I think it was IGZ Zone. I think that was what it was called. When they shut down, that was like kind of the gathering point for the community, and they shut down, and that's where my dad came into the picture. He created a Wii Zone, tried to give people a new place to go to and a
Right.
new place to like group up and talk, post recorded games and things like that. And I think that that was really important for the game as well, for the community to be able to stick together. And obviously, it's been running a Wii Zone now for I think 13, 13 years or so. And he's one of the unsung heroes of Age of Empires, right? We have a lot of those people that don't get
Yeah.
enough credit for what they have done for the game over the years, and he's definitely one of them. And I mean, he's always been open and allowing me to like when I started playing more Age of Empires and making some money of it, and like joining Tyrant where we got paid a little bit of a salary and things like that. My dad was thought it was cool. Obviously, he was into Age and he watched tournaments and things like that. But my mom always was like, you have to go outside and get like you have to think about getting a job and things like that. And, like, but my dad was always chill about it, right? Of course, he
Right.
was
Of course.
encouraged me to do
Yeah.
school and good things and good values in life. But he was always supportive. And if I wanted to stream or play Age of Empires, and my mom would be like, so there would be a lot of cases where like they wanted me to clean the kitchen or do this or that, and I was in a game. My mom was like, "No, you're gonna do it right now," da, 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 and my dad was just like, wait, he's in a game. Just give him some time, things like that. So like,
Yeah.
because he obviously understood that you cannot pause an online multiplayer game when you're playing 4v4 land nomad, naturally. So no, it's been great, and I think it's cool for him as well to
Right,
see like that I've gotten this good in the game, and he's able to watch tournaments where I'm competing as well, and yeah, no, he's obviously probably the biggest reason to why I'm even playing Age and where I'm at.
right. So it sounds like your mom is the living embodiment of that. I can't pause online games, mom. You know the meme?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. So the
yeah, pretty
people in the
much.
chat, yeah, that's funny. I mean, so it's good. So it sounds like I mean, video games as a career it's something a lot of people have a hard time, explaining or even like convincing their loved ones that it's like a real thing that and you're not gonna be, a vagrant in 2 to 3 months from now. So it sounds like you had like a supportive home who, of course, understood how esports was developing. I think it's pretty cool. I know I wish a lot of us, wish our parents could be as chill and cool about it. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, and of course,
I'm always the mhm. Yeah, I'm fortunate. Like my dad always had an insight into like esports and like well, Age of Empires esports mostly, but like he had an understanding of internet and like how things was developing. So for him, it was always kind of like this is good, this works, you know. Obviously, my mom never understood how things worked, like how am I getting money from playing a video game, things like that. But my dad obviously always understood. So yeah, I've been very fortunate in that end as well.
yeah, that's been the true MVP then. And of course, you're also known as the boyfriend of fellow streamer Debbie.
Hmm.
Um, how did you two meet? That was one of the questions I got asked on Reddit.
We met through, I mean, met in person. We met during NEC1, but the first time we interacted was I was streaming as I do, and then I was gonna end my stream, so I was looking for someone to host. And I just opened the category Age of Empires 2, you know, I scroll down, look for someone to host, and I see drunk stream in like full caps. And I was just like, okay, this looks interesting. I open the stream and I see her there doing her thing. And I saw some Rocket Beans text or some image or something underneath as well. So I thought she was a part of Rocket Beans, where I had been a part of their show once or twice at that point. So that's kind of why I hosted a drunk stream and Rocket Beans. Was like, okay, let's do this. And when I hosted her, she just she acted like so fanboy that I kind of got like weirded out a little bit that I just closed the stream. So I watched for like 1 minute and then I left. But then Bean Dip actually went to my Discord and tagged me like 2 hours later that I really should go and check out more because she's really like a big fan and things like that. So I went back to the stream, interacted a little bit more, and yeah, it was fun. She was obviously drunk doing her thing, but that was kind of where it started. Obviously, back then, no thoughts that hey, this would be my girlfriend or anything like that. Sure, I could see. I think she was a pretty girl, but that was kind of it. But yeah, the fun fact is that she didn't actually really know me. Debbie did. She just got hosted by a lot of viewers, so she felt like she kind of had to like, oh my god, it's the Viper, you know. But yeah, she only kind of knew my name from Rocket Beans, but she didn't actually watch my stream or anything. But she went like, she was my biggest fan and things like that
Oh,
during the stream. But yeah, that was fun. That's where it started. And the day after, she wrote to me like apologized for her behavior, things like that. But we kind of small talked a little bit from there, a few times. And then NAC1 happened. She came there with some other people. Obviously, we're going to be a meet and greet. And yeah, then we had 3 4 days we got to spend together, get to know each other, and one thing kind of led to another, you know. And here we are, a couple of
okay.
years later.
Yeah. And now you two are AoE's power couple. I think it's
Yeah,
yeah,
we're the Brad
yeah.
Pitt and Angelina Jolie of Age of Empires.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Okay, surely beloved couple by your fans for sure. Um, it's interesting that you mentioned Bean Dip. She rated me in the Nilly interview, like literally right at the end, right before I rated someone else.
Hmm.
And I asked her if she would wanna appear in an interview, and she said, she's not interested, there's nothing there. So maybe you could return the favor and inbox her and let her know, she should come and appear on the show, you know.
Yeah, of course she should. I mean, she probably has a lot of fun stories to tell as well, and some good moments. I think Bean Dip actually like from when I watched her a little bit more in the past and the way she dealt with like she was like 17 years old when she was streaming, and the way she was dealing with trolls and uh, perps, maybe you can say, coming into her chat was insanely mature. It was like
Right.
super impressive. I got a lot of respect for her for the way she did that. But yeah, I mean, she should totally come onto an interview, right? She's doing fairly well for herself as well in terms of viewership and things. So definitely a name in the Age of Empires community.
Okay, very good. Well, I'm definitely gonna clip that and send it to her. Um, okay, I kind of lost my train of thought here. Okay, and you're a part of the GL clan,
Yes,
Gamer Legion. I don't want to get that wrong.
correct.
Um, what was, well, what's it like being, on the team with Jordan and Doubt and Slam? That's all I can remember right now. Don't want to make any mistakes.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've been teaming with them for 7, 8 years already, right? Since the Tyrant days, it was me, Jordan, Doubt, and Cab. And then a year later, kind of Slam and Bacti, Fire and Rio joined as well. So most of these guys I've teamed for 7, 8 years already. Tato and Nili are kind of the new faces in the clan. Um, but yeah, I mean, these guys are they have it's at the point where like they're my they're very close real life friends of mine as well, right? It's not just someone I met online and like got friendly with. I mean, I went to Doubt's wedding. I'm the godfather of Jordan's child, so it's like these are real relationships, right? It's not just people sitting inside their houses and apartments and playing video games and nerding online. These are real friends of yours, and yeah, it's I think it's a special clan. Our team is special. I think it's like we're just such good friends as well. That it's not just like we're playing game together. We're actually real life friends, and um, yeah, I can't at this point imagine myself ever teaming anyone else. It's just like being in another team with other people and not having like Doubt on your ear or
Right.
Jordan on your ear, Taro with his Spanglish. I just can't imagine that, right? So it's a special team, and I'm very happy to be a part of it.
Okay, that's nice. So I mean, apart from, a career and, enjoyment, so AOE has also been able to give you meaningful um social interactions as well, and, friends for life. So
100%.
yeah, I heard that so you've been to China, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I heard that Mr. Yo is a bit of a troll over there. As in, he told everyone in China that he taught Hera everything he knows about the game. So yeah, so he's sort of
Okay.
like Hera's mentor. What other than like everybody knows Doubt, Doubt is Doubt, and what are like the hidden troll or funny people in the community that we may not know about, like who just does like weird things. It's like wow, I can't believe this guy.
Hidden trolls. I wouldn't say at this point we have any hidden trolls, so to say. But I don't know. Like Vivi is a really special character. A lot of people will see him online, and he's acting like 2-year-old sometimes. His name is like 5 centimeters. He always calls himself fat, things like that. But meeting that guy in person, he was just such a shy little teddy bear. Like he was so cute. Me, him, and Yo took the elevator in the hotel, and he made Yo translate that Vivi thinks I'm cute. Like in the elevator with 3 people there, and he's like, "Oh, Vivi wanted to tell me that you're cute." Like what? um, so it was like I don't know. Vivi he's just such a sweet character and unique. Uh, Obviously, I don't speak the language with him, but just meeting
Right.
him and comparing to how he's behaving online to just how shy and cute. I just use the word cute. I don't use that word often with guys, but Viv is just
Hmm.
he's just cute, man.
Okay, that's nice.
And yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, troll. I don't know. I mean, the biggest trolls these days are probably like Daniel. Uh, who else would be a troll at this point? I don't know. Daniel, maybe Proto Belgium comes in chat with some Kappa, KEKW, things like that. Yeah, I don't really know.
Okay. And who? who have you yet to meet that you're kind of looking forward to meeting up in real life?
At this point, I've met most of the big names and like the guys you would expect to have meeting. Yeah, who have I not met?
Other than Gwen Franco, of course, but other than me.
Oh yeah, you totally. Yeah. No, obviously that would be fun as well.
Right.
I'm trying to think of if there's anyone I haven't met that I would love to meet. Like
Someone in the chat say
probably,
Moang.
nah, I think ACCM would be a great guy to meet.
Oh, everybody
His
said
English is,
ACCM.
oh yeah, really? No,
Yeah.
his English is just so good right now, and he's the nicest guy, right? Every interaction I've
Yeah.
ever had with him has been like, he's just such a nice, positive, good attitude person, and being able to talk more with him now as he talks English is amazing, and he's the guy I would love to meet in person. Obviously, I would enjoy meeting like Daniel as well. Would be fun to meet. Yeah, Bling would be cool to meet as well. I watched Bling play StarCraft 2 many years ago, and I thought that
Right.
was really cool that he came from Age of Empires. Now he's streaming Age of Empires again, right? So it would be cool to meet him as well.
Wait, Bling plays
Mm.
soccer? Oh, football.
He was a professional in StarCraft 2.
Oh,
So
StarCraft. I thought you said football for some reason.
no, StarCraft 2.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I don't really know if there's anyone else that stands out. No, I think I met most other. Yeah, I kind of want to meet the players I play against, right?
Right.
Yeah, just like I want to meet them all. It's like Pokemon, catch them all, meet them all.
Yeah,
I,
well,
I enjoy it every
hopefully,
time.
hopefully when Corona clears up, get get more big events going, especially as AOE is at its height. Okay. So I wanna ask you, and we have a lot of audience questions. So I definitely want to get to those soon. But I
Mm.
sort of want to ask you about your opinions of Age of Empires of the game, and a bit more about your hobbies, this, that, and the other. I've had like two Germans on already, so I feel like I already know everything about Germany. I don't know what again I'm gonna ask you about that, but we'll see. Um, how do you feel about Age of Empires 2 right now, in terms of its balance, how it plays as a video game?
I think the balance is the best it has ever been. Um, for like viable civilizations in most scenarios. There are still obviously standout civilizations, but I think what used to be 2 and 3 civs is now like 7, 8 civs. So yeah, I think it's the best balance it's ever been. Gameplay, I think people have embraced the walling meta, which makes sense because walling is pretty strong. So there's a little bit more passive play in some scenarios than it used to be, I think. But overall, I still think the game is probably at the best spot it has ever been.
Right.
Obviously, both for audience, tournaments, and everything. So I think it's in a really good place.
Okay. Um, and well, I think it's no secret. You've obviously been involved in Age of Empires 4 and sort of advising them on how that's gonna go. Do you have any thoughts on AOE4 that you can share without breaking your NDA?
Just what I kind of always say about it. I think AOE 4 is going to be a good game. I think it's not. Don't expect like a new AOE 2, right? New improved AOE 2. That's not what it's going to be. It's going to be its own game. It's going to be a good game, and we just kind of have to wait and see how it develops, right? We don't know. Will it be a good esport? Who knows? Time will tell, right? But yeah, I think it's going to be a good game. I'm excited for it, and that's kind of where my thoughts stop
Yeah.
without diving into detail.
Yeah. So I mean, so obviously you don't play Age of Empires 3. And I think we kind of aware of why that, because it's not really the same as AoE 2 and it never really got as popular. But could you foresee yourself actually making a switch to Age of Empires 4? Or at least for a period of time, like going heavily into it?
First of all, I have to say, since Age of Empires 3 DE got released, I tried the game and I played a fair bit. I even got to the point where I would stop streaming AoE 2. Right, I'm done streaming AoE 2 for the day, and I would play an hour or two of Age of Empires 3D off stream. I enjoyed the game actually for a little bit. I haven't played it now in a while, long time, but my impression is that AV3 probably is underrated as a game because I had a lot of fun playing it. But yeah, AV4, I like upon release, I will obviously embrace it for what it's worth. I'm gonna play all the campaigns. I'm gonna play multiplayer, stream it a ton, and like milk it. Probably is the right word to use. Milk it for what it's worth.
Right.
If it's a great game, the better. Obviously, perfect.
Yeah.
If it disappoints, then so be it. But right now, I don't know competitive. If I could go competitive, depending on my risk situation, and that time will obviously tell there. But for me, it's also like it's up in the air. I don't know what the game is going to be like, how people are going to embrace it, and what's going to happen. So yeah, I will stream it a lot. I will switch to H4 in quotes, but I wouldn't leave AV2 behind. And I think it all depends on how good AV4 is, right? If it's the best game ever, I will switch 100%. If it's
Right.
kind of in the middle, I might do a little bit of hybrid, like some AV2, some AV4. If it sucks, I'll probably just play AV2 after milking AV4 for what it's worth.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm glad to hear you say that about Age of Empires 3. I remember I was watching an interview with Sandy Peterson, one of the old head devs, and he
Hmm.
was saying actually, I believe, I don't know if I get it wrong, but I think he said he thinks AoE 3 is like, the best AoE. I mean, I guess naturally, every game, a new game you make, you probably think, that's your best work. So it's good that, people who actually tried it out have, good positive things to say about it. So I think more people should check it out. The bigger the AoE franchises, the more AoE we'll have, more continued
Yeah.
development, the more games you'll get. Yeah.
I think, like, to speak on that part quickly, I think the issue with Age of Empires games are that if you have one favorite game, it seems like you automatically have to hate the others. It can't be that, like, yeah, AV2 is the best game. I love AV2. But AV3 is also a decent game. That's not possible, right? It's supposed to be AV2 is the best game and every other game sucks. That's kind of the mentality I see for the most part. But I think a lot of people also haven't really given AV3 a try, yet they still talk bad about it, for example. So I think that type of mentality is a little bit too much. But at the same time, of course, people have their favorites, and
Right.
but I don't understand why you cannot have your favorite without being negative towards the others. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that does make sense. How do you feel about new expansions coming into Age of Empires 2?
So I'm in the boat there where I'm always happy about new things coming to the age. Obviously, it means that Microsoft are still investing. It means that possibly more people come into the scene because it continues updates. It's more content, so it's like good for streaming, more campaigns, good for streaming, good for YouTube, things like that. And my livelihood is still primarily a content creator, so all those things are fantastic for in that regard. But I do understand the criticism as well that hey, we have too many civs now. There's too many bonuses. Everything is overused. Civs are broken. This and that. I do understand that, but I'm still in the boat where I think I'm happy about new civilizations and I'm excited for them to come out.
Yeah, I know how you feel. I think like it's a reality of video game or the capitalism, right? Developers have to find some way to keep the cash coming in, to keep
Yeah,
development happening. It's nothing you can do about it.
I
So
mean, like think about how much price pool Microsoft has invested the last since the
yeah,
E got released, right? They invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in price pool. And the reason they can do that is because they have released expansions. The game is being bought by a lot of people, so they can justify reinvesting more funds into Age of Empires, right?
right.
It's just a natural, uh, like, like events, like natural turn of events. Doesn't matter, but yeah, it's like it's always going to be like that give and take sort of kind of thing.
Okay. And how did you feel about the move to replace Deathmatch with Empire Wars on the Ladder and put its own separate queue in custom lobby?
Yeah. Um,
Be careful what you say here, TheViper.
No, no, like for me, it's more of a surprise that it hasn't happened earlier. Now, don't get me wrong. It's more about that Empire Wars wasn't introduced earlier instead of other things. Because I mean, since the first Red Bull, I was kind of trying to tell devs, hey guys, Empire Wars makes sense. Why are we not having Empire Wars ladder? Red Bull is gonna make this way more popular. So that's been a long time coming already. Obviously, in an ideal world, everything can coexist. There's only one deathmatch, only one random map, one more Empire Wars. There's 2v2, 3v3, 4v4 of everything as well. Now, I don't know, not sure if what the limitations are in terms of like why do they have to do it like this. My guess is that there is a technical limitation, and it's not like they're doing this because they want to get rid of deathmatch. I think it's more a thing where they are unfortunately limited, and therefore they have to pick what are the better options in their eyes. And with that in mind, I think it makes sense what they're doing. It's not really, it's nothing against deathmatch, obviously. It's just, it makes sense because
Right.
if there's probably going to be 10 times the players of Empire Wars, even more maybe, that play Empire Wars compared to people that play deathmatch. So it's like they have to look at numbers and they have to make the right decision for the game and for them. But of course, in the end, deathmatch has been a part of Age of Empires for 20 years. So I understand the outrage, so to say, that they would remove classic game mode that has always been there.
Okay. So okay, so before we get into the questions, I sort of want to get into an even more slice of life of Viper, you know. So you live in Germany, you're originally from Norway.
Correct.
Um, what inspired this move to Germany, Mr. The Viper?
So I lived on a small island called Skjervøy. It has like 2,000 people, and I grew up there my whole life, lived there almost my whole life. And I kind of reached a point where I was like, I'm tired of this. I need something new in my life.
Right.
And that kind of came at the same time as I got more involved with Debbie. And for me, who already kind of wanted to like explore something new and leave where I was living from, it kind of made sense to just jump out there when it got as serious as it did with Debbie. And then it was just
Right.
like, okay, since my livelihood is a computer, I can probably get a computer to Germany. So that was not really a problem, right? And considering I had that flexibility, it also kind of just made sense to just like go for it, right? See what happens. And yeah, that's kind of how it started. It's a combination of obviously Debbie being here and
Right.
me wanting something new.
So, does this mean you're a country boy, Viper?
Country boy? What do you mean by that?
You know, you grew up in like a rural
Not a
area?
city boy. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not
not
a
a
city
city.
boy. So yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
look
yeah.
at that. Oh, you're very interested. Okay, well, like, what are your hobbies outside of Age of Empires?
Hobbies outside of Age of Empires. Well, obviously, I love. I am a nerd. I play video games. I like a lot of video games. Football is a big passion of mine, both watching and playing. I haven't played much recently, but I still follow my team and watch football as much as I can. Obviously, spending time with Debbie, Justus. I didn't know I could care as much for an animal as I have done since I got to meet this little guy. Um,
Okay.
so yeah, things like that. Obviously, I love to travel as well. Haven't been able to do that lately either, unfortunately. Um, but no, like the things I spend the most time on is probably like video games, football, and obviously the people around me. But besides that, I kind of like a lot of things, just a little bit less. So
Right. So I actually have a clip here that I want to show everyone. It's a clip of you playing the Viper. The Viper. It's called the clip is the Viper versus Ryut, Nutmeg Micro. So
football.
I'm gonna switch to the video.
You should play that 10 times. Oof!
Go go. Okay.
Filthy, filthy.
Okay, so for those who don't really follow football that much, The Viper made a pro move against that was Ryut, right? The Viper did a pro move
Yes.
against Ryut. And did you score? Did I see that you scored there?
I didn't score, no.
Okay, but you were close. You almost had
Yeah.
them. Yeah.
Well, I did
So
score in some way. I
yeah,
count that as a goal.
yeah. So other than clapping us noobs on the AoE field, you'll also clap us in real life in football. That's what we should take away here.
I think right now I'm not in that great shape as I used to be, but I consider myself a fairly decent footballer when I'm playing. Yeah.
Okay, nice. And what teams do you follow?
My favorite team is Manchester United. I've been following them since I was a kid. It's kind of the only team I follow with a proper passion. I obviously like my national team as well. I enjoy watching Norway play, but besides that, I just watch like the big games, right? The El Clasico in Spain. I'll watch like other top teams in England play. Sometimes Italy, sometimes Germany, depending on what's on. But yeah, it's mostly Manchester United.
Okay, it's Norway's the team color is orange, right? Or is that Denmark?
Orange,
Or is that Denmark? What am I? Oh, did I mix
neither
this
has
up?
orange. It's
Who
red.
who's
Orange is the Netherlands, probably.
oh, Netherlands, yeah. Because I randomly adopted Netherlands as my World Cup team
Ah,
like a few
okay,
years
yeah.
ago, yeah.
No,
I always
Norway was
confused
not in the
Denmark,
World Cup.
Norway, and Netherlands. To me,
Yeah.
all one country, to be honest.
You
I'm
confuse
sorry.
Denmark, Norway,
Yeah,
and Netherlands.
to me and here in the Caribbean,
Uh-huh.
that's just one place. And I can never tell the distinction between, those countries. I know it's horrible to say, but it's just like I've always been struggling with which
Yeah.
ones which.
No,
But I follow one of you, right? I
but
follow one of the teams. It's
but
so
Norway
funny.
and Denmark have red kits,
Okay,
so
okay, yeah.
not orange.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe I'll follow Denmark.
Denmark are doing really well. They're in the semifinal now in the Euros, so
No, wait.
you
No, you're
should
from Norway.
you
I was
should choose them.
trying to
Yeah, I'm
remember
from
where you're
Norway.
from. Okay. Maybe I'll
Norway
follow
suck.
Norway. Have you ever made it to the World Cup? You must have made it to the
I
to the
think the
finals
last
or
World Cup,
anything.
was maybe '98. I don't even know. It's
Jeez.
been
God damn.
a long
Oof,
time.
that's rough.
Could be. No, I think the last one was '98. Yeah, it's been a long time.
Oh,
But
that's
we have a
rough.
kind of a golden generation, so to say, uh, going on right now. So I think it shouldn't be too long until Norway are like back in like these championships.
Okay. Well, we were in Trinidad was in the World Cup like maybe 15 years ago.
2006.
2006. Yeah. So you tell me Trinidad was in the World Cup and Norway hasn't made it in there yet? That sounds right to me.
Oh, we're bad.
Oh no. Well, I guess you're in a tough region though. That's a very developed region for football.
Yeah,
We have a little bit easier down here. Not much.
it it's hard to raise footballers in snow. So it's yeah. I mean, the issue with Norway is that the season is played the like Norway starts the season in April, and that's like when other countries are about to end their season. So it's a bit it's shorter seasons as well, and it's obviously a harder climate to play football in up in Norway.
Oh, right.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
but as well. Well, I mean, I grew some eye for listening. I'm sorry for mixing up like the countries. You have to understand, like I'm all the way over in the
yeah,
Caribbean. Like it's
of course.
very,
Chat will
sometimes
never
some
forgive
regions
you.
just blur. That's just the nature of chat. Oh, Debbie's pointing out I'm almost at 1,000 followers, by the way. So
Woo!
thank you everyone for following. Yeah, that's amazing. Uh,
Guys, smash that follow button. Let's go.
yeah, I got the Viper
Deb is gonna
endorsement.
gift subs.
Okay, Debbie, the T said it's not me. All right. So yeah, so once again, getting more into the Viper, the guy. Did you say you had other hobbies other than football? Did you? Somebody said singing in the chat.
Oh,
Do you sing Viper?
do I sing? Oh, yeah. I
Oh,
if I stop streaming, I'll probably become an artist of some sort. So I have a pretty.
what?
I think I would say I have a pretty good voice.
Nice. I don't suppose we can trouble you to, you know, you know.
I'm just kidding. I don't.
Oh my
So
God,
the whole
you're trolling
singing
me.
thing comes. The whole singing thing comes from like when I was 14, 15, 14. I had like the main role of a show my school put up where I was playing Macbeth. Macbeth. and I had to sing a couple of songs there, and that's unfortunately on YouTube.
Okay.
And I have done some karaoke cameos as well, and that's also on YouTube. So there's been
I should have showed
yeah,
that clip.
big enough. You should watch here. Big enough. That's my absolute banger. Um, but no, yeah, I'm not a good singer.
Okay, no problem. And what a I'm kind of upset I wasted all that time going into that singing segment. And whoever trolled me in the chat, congratulations. So what other hobbies do you have if you are interested in other things?
Just video games,
Just
watching
video
TV
games.
shows, movies, spending time with friends, family, and the close ones. Right.
Okay.
Traveling. I love
Oh,
traveling.
nice.
Me and Debbie are planning to travel as soon as Corona allows it,
Okay.
and we want to go back to Norway first, and then we have New Zealand/Australia is on the
Nice.
menu, and probably some. I think we're gonna end up exploring quite a bit of the world,
Yeah.
quite soon enough, hopefully.
Is the Caribbean on the itinerary?
I
No.
don't think we have that on the list, but
Ah,
possibly, possibly we should add that.
yeah, yeah, you should, you should. We got some nice islands down here. Yeah. How many countries have you been to so far?
Oof, that's a lot. I mean, I have flown through, like I've landed in Russia, for example, but that was only like a
Yeah, everyone count
stop
that.
to go to China, so I don't count that. But I mean, I've been to Norway, obviously, Finland, Sweden, Denmark, Germany, England, Italy, Greece. I've been to the Maldives, Dubai, so the United Arab Emirates.
Right.
I've been to China. I've
A
been to
long list.
Canada.
Oh, damn.
I've been to Spain.
Is it in the 20s? Is it in the 30s?
I think it's two digits, but like probably between 10 and 20,
Okay.
something like
So
that.
so nowhere close to Nelly. Who's in like his 40s. He's been to over
Oh
40
no, no,
countries.
nowhere
That guy's
close to
at least
nearly no.
nowhere close to Nelly. All right.
Yeah, Serbia, yes. Yeah, I've been a lot of places at this point, but
Any
hopefully more.
favorites, by the way, that you've been to so far?
Ooh. Like my best experience in terms of traveling. Oh, I've been to Egypt as well. Yeah, true. Uh, like the first time I was to Dubai was insane.
Oh, nice.
But the reason why it's a big reason why is that we pretty much lived as kings because the sponsor of Tyrant was filthy rich. So we had like f- the best of everything, like the best hotels, the best this,
Right.
the best that. So that was like
Should be
we
interesting.
uh, pretty much got to feel what it's like to live as a billionaire almost. So that was an insane experience. But obviously, if we were there as a regular vacation, I probably would have a different perspective and view on how the trip to Dubai was. But it was insane. I loved Egypt. I
Right.
loved Spain when I was younger. I had a good trip to Greece as well. Really hard to pick favorites.
That's
Really,
all
really
right.
hard.
You saved yourself, by the way, with that Egypt mention.
Hmm.
Yeah, Debbie mentioned,
Because
and
Debbie,
yeah,
yeah,
Debbie's in
makes
the
sense.
chat, and she's like, "Oh, you saved yourself there, so that's good. Good on you." Okay. What I mean, hard to pick favorites when there's so many great places and so many different types of
Yes.
experiences. And how do you pick your favorite type of experiences? Yeah, I know how it is.
The best part is just experiencing different cultures, right? Seeing the difference, how people grew up and how people like live their lives and how different food is just from one place to another. It's it's really fun, and that's kind of one of the main reasons why I love traveling.
Right. Yeah. So somebody in the chat offered that me and him should host you for a Caribbean tour. Debbie said she only wants to come if there's pirates involved. There were no pirates in the Caribbean. That's in like the 1500s, That's like 1,000 years ago. All you have now are like beaches and a bit of poverty here and there, fun stuff.
She's watching too much Jack Sparrow.
The good thing is that like as a vacationer, your money track good goes a long way in the Caribbean. I don't know like why I'm studying the Caribbean so much. Like I'm not in the Ministry of Tourism. What am I doing?
Do you like Trinidad?
Well, I mean, I've only ever been. I mean, okay, I've traveled to a few places.
Hmm.
But me personally, I'm not so big on travel. The company that the Andrew that I'm with that I mentioned on stream a few times. we did a fair bit of traveling. I'm always the guy who's always like, I don't want to go. I just want to stay home.
Okay.
That's why my computer is, So
Stay home and play some
yeah.
Mage.
But Trinidad, it's decent. It's nice. I think foreigners
Is
like
it
it a lot more than me because there's
okay?
beaches everywhere. You guys like beaches.
So
Well,
you would recommend people to visit Trinidad, pretty
if
much?
you're a tourist, yeah. If you want to live here, maybe. Actually, I think Trinidad would probably be the best place for somebody to come migrate to because you get the beaches, all the nice touristy stuff, but it's also very
Hmm.
developed. We're like oil rich and oil giant in the Caribbean. So you could give a
Hmm.
pretty comfortable life that you're accustomed to over there in Germany and still have all
Okay.
the fun Caribbean stuff. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so back to interviewing the Viper. That's enough about Juan Franco and the Caribbean. I don't know why you spend so much time in the Caribbean. Okay, name for me your favorite non strategy video game.
Does Football Manager count? There is some strategy, I guess,
Uh,
but it's not like a real-time strategy
maybe.
game.
Yeah.
It's a tactics. Yeah. Non-strategy game.
Non-strategy. Are you a secret Fortnite player, Viper?
I played some Fortnite back in the day on stream with Delth and the crew. We had some fun there. No, not Valorant. Uh, I'm trying so hard to think of games I play that do not involve strategy.
I guess they kind of all sort of
Commandos,
involve strategy.
yeah, Commandos also kind of involve
Yeah.
strategy.
Or
Among
what's the
Us is also
most
a strategy game,
unorthodox game
right?
that we wouldn't think that you would like that you do
Putting me on the spot here.
like? Oh, this is the most on the spot question so far.
Oh,
Okay, that's interesting.
Hearthstone also is strategy though, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, okay, I guess almost video games about strategy, so that's kind of a bad question.
Tower defense is also strategy. Like the game I've played the most over the last week has been it's called The Last Spell. It's still early access, but it's like it combines base building with kind of tower defense heroes, character custom like character development, a lot of things. And it's like I like those types of games where you have like choices to yeah, just like multiple options. But like I really love Hearthstone these days. I like
Right.
Age of Empires, obviously. StarCraft 2 I've had a lot of fun playing. Battle of Middle Earth was OG classic. Uh, Football Manager is the one I play all the time with my brothers. It's kind of my escape and like keeping up, connecting with my brothers. But yeah, I think most games actually involve some form of strategy.
Okay. Yeah, so okay, so that was just an awful question. So we'll ignore that I asked that. But it does sound like you play a diverse array of video games, you know. So you're a true
Yeah,
gamer.
within yeah, like I play diverse games within like certain. I'm not big on first person shooters, but I've enjoyed things like Overwatch, Fortnite, like shooters that have a little bit more gimmick to them, right?
Right, right.
Um, I've
So
enjoyed
you're
those.
not a sweaty cut boy. Are you?
No, no, no.
It's
Like
not.
Heroes, Might and Magic, Heroes 3, Might and Magic, one of the best games ever.
Okay,
These are the type of games that I play.
okay, okay.
Among Us also was a lot of fun.
All right. And I think that's it for the trivia. Oh, by the way, how do you get the name?
The Viper,
Yeah.
Randy Orton from WWE. I
Oh,
needed I
nice.
needed a name, and back in the day, I was watching some wrestling with my brother and my uncle, and yeah, Randy Orton was my favorite, and he was called the Viper, and I was like, okay, the Viper it is.
Nice. I think I used to watch a bit of wrestling back in the day. I think Randy Orton was the guy who used to go around beating all the old pros, all the retired pros, something like that.
I
Is
wouldn't
that right
remember
around
at
there?
this point.
I wouldn't. I can't remember either. But okay,
He
that's
had the
interesting.
RKO move,
Oh yeah, the
RKO out of
RKO. Oh, that was a
nowhere.
meme for a big
Yeah,
while. That
exactly.
RKO. That
Yeah,
was a fun
that
meme.
was it. Like, yeah, out of
And
nowhere, you know.
I watched a video. One of your mods sent me a video from their channel. I think it's let me get his name right. It's Polka's fan. Polska. Jeez, these European names, man.
Polska
Yeah,
fan, yeah.
Polska fan. Yeah, yeah. So he showed me. Well, he was giving me a rundown here, as well. He showed me a clip when he did a meet
Hmm.
and greet with you, and you explained that the color yellow. That's when you kissed one of your fans. It was a pretty funny moment. I won't show it on stream though. I don't want to get my channel banned
Ah, I think I
for
know. Wait,
inappropriate content. So I'll leave that clip away.
wait. When I kissed one of my
Yeah,
fans.
it's a safe clip. Debbie was there. Everything was above board. I just can't
Yeah,
show it on stream. I don't want to
NEC3.
get. I'm not doing a hot tub stream today. So, but anyway,
Yeah, it was meeting.
yeah, so you were telling the how yellow is just like you only play yellow because some cool dude in the past played yellow. That really destroy the color.
So I watched when my dad played for a land nomad. He had a guy in his team that was called Nuki, I think. Obviously, not the high level player at all, but he was colorblind, so he always needed yellow, and he was a good player. So I was like, yeah, he's cool. He's like top scorer often and things like that. My dad plays with him often, and he had yellow color all the time because he was colorblind. I was like, okay,
Okay.
cool. But I never really, I don't even know why I started playing yellow. I kind of just, I don't know. It was just a color, and I liked it somehow.
Okay.
And I think the only correlate like relationship I have to yellow was that thing
Right.
with Nuki
Yeah.
from my dad and Land Nomad. So it's probably just like the nostalgic part of it.
Yeah. I also play yellow as well, but I don't want people to think I'm just copying you. I actually think it's
Good
just the
choice.
best looking color in the game. Well, like red and purple
I
are
like
my
it as
favorite
well.
colors, though. Okay. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's enough about AoE colors. I don't know what the hell I'm doing here. I have this weird. I have
Hey, we
this.
colors are important. They are.
So I have this one question that I've never asked anyone yet. It's like PC setup. I don't know why that's on the list. You have anything about
Okay.
your PC setup that we would ever care to know about? I'm hoping the answer is no.
I can list what my PC is
No,
built of if
no,
you want.
God, let's not do
It's
that.
not really
Let's
too
not
much
do
else
that.
to say.
Let's not do that. Save some time on this interview. So that means, unless you have any politics you want to inject into this, that means we're gonna get into
Donald Trump.
the. Okay,
No, go on, go on.
so that means we're gonna go straight into the questions and answers.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, because it's the Viper, we have a billion questions, so we won't be able to ask them all, and a lot will repeats. So I'm gonna ask a few from the Facebook, AOE forums, and AOE Zone community. Oh, actually, no. You know what? I did have one thing I wanted to talk about before I get into that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to ask you about a bit about AOE Zone.
Okay.
Oh, wait, oh, hold on. Oh, Debbie, we're gonna that's after the question and answers, Debbie. That's the last thing. We end with that. And he's gonna get crushed. He's gonna get crushed with this one. I put some doozies in there. So don't you worry that. Don't you worry. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So I wanted to ask you a bit about AoE Zone. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, your dad's in charge of AoE Zone. And every time I go on AoE Zone, I always go through the general forum. There's always this one post at the top, and is this the end of the Viper's legacy? And I'm like, dude, like I don't know, like it would be so annoying for me if like my dad was like had this top side on this top game, and then it's just this the people are always doing like these weird dumb troll shit at me. So I would imagine you have like some mixed feelings about AoE Zone, even though it's probably like a point of pride for you, given your affiliation with it. But yeah.
I think AV Zone at the moment is it's still a super nice site to have in the community, but most of the interaction in Age of Empires happens on Discord on streams these days. So I think AV Zone is a little bit past it, but I still think it's a must to have because of
Right.
recorded games posting, scheduling, whatnot. But I feel like Discord, for example, has like taken over a lot of the crucial parts that were AoE Zone in the past. There's still a lot of healthy discussions on AoE Zone. Obviously, there's a couple of trolls there with some constant negative posts and everything, but that's just it's what it is. It
Right.
doesn't really bother me. Um, it's hard to find people that have the time and want to invest the time to be like moderating AoE Zone all the time, right? And my dad doesn't have the time to be an admin. Um, like have to moderate every post all the time and things like that. So of course there's pros and cons to AoE Zone, but in the end I still think it's a nice thing to have. I think it's still good for the game, even though like it can go a little bit wild and get a little bit off the rails sometimes. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Okay. I mean, that's a nice answer. I think nicely said. All right. So let's get into the questions and answers. You know, I think this is probably my favorite part of the interviews now, the audience Q&A. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the Facebook group, the Age of Empires 2 community on Facebook. I'm gonna link. This is the link in it. If anybody's on Facebook want to go check out that group, it's they made me admin there a while back, so now they asked me to plug the group. Those cheeky bastards. And thank you for the raid, Marty McFoo, and also I mean I have 960 followers, so thank you everyone. You know, it feels amazing. It's pretty great. It's pretty great. All right. So the first question is troll question. Some Jonathan Newman wants to know: are you a Monty Python fan?
Yes and no. I didn't watch much when I was younger, but I have seen some Monty Python in recent years, and yeah, I would consider myself a Monty Python fan. But I wouldn't know. I haven't watched enough to the point where I can like know every quote and remember every movie and everything.
Right.
But yes, I do like the Monty Python humor.
Okay, nice. And by the way, how do you feel about like strategy questions? Like somebody asked, do relics matter in Empire War? You want to entertain those today, or you want to skip past
The answer to that is yes.
those? Okay, very nice. Um, God, he's asking. So Adam Kemp from Facebook is asking, engage with Debbie. Don't know why not anybody would
Later.
ask something. So okay, all right. What's your next
Oh,
tournament goal?
engage as in like get engaged for marriage. Oh, I thought you just meant a casual engage, you know?
Okay.
Not what
Oh,
I'm talking
oh.
about.
Okay.
No, but all right, next question.
What is your next tournament goal, or your next goal,
Win.
or what's your tournament plans for the future? Oh, win.
To win.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
I like the pace of these answers here, Piper. We're in a nice pace here. Do you like the bands? I asked it already. Should we buy Age of Empires 4?
Depends on how much money you have and what you're willing to spend on a game that you don't know about yet. I recommend if you're uncertain about AV4, just wait, watch some streams, see reviews, see if
Right.
it looks like your cup of tea. If you want to buy it and play it the second it's released, sure, buy it. If you can't afford it, spend money on food instead.
Okay.
I don't know.
And Derek Gwynn asks, do you like the sneaky base tactic?
Sneaky base tactic,
You know, when you sneak
just
a
like a
base.
forward sneaky base.
Yeah.
Probably not.
And then Derek has a follow-up question. Did you answer it that way so you could surprise your opponents? 'Cause you just said no, but you
Yes.
know. Okay, very good. Alexander Todd asked, he said he was impressed by the fact that you started streaming so soon after what he describes as a dramatic semifinal loss. Do you have any specific like bounce back strategies? Or do you just not, take those defeats too seriously and just move on?
I assume he means like after the recent Red Bull,
Yeah,
right? So, I mean, streaming is my job, right? I cannot
right,
just like be like, nah, I'm not gonna stream anymore. No, I mean, my mentality always it depends on the tournament, right? If I leave a tournament and I feel like this was a disaster, I didn't feel like I played well, I'm very disappointed. I might need a day or two more before I want to do more, like before I want to stream and like expose myself to all the questions and condolences and whatnot.
right,
Uh, but yeah, like if I leave the tournament and I kind of have like a sense of a day of what went wrong and is this a big problem? Is my performance just not good enough? Things like that. It always changes. But yeah, after Red Bull, I felt like a little bit disappointed, obviously, that I wasn't able to show what I could do. But
right,
also things just kind of didn't pan out anyway the way I wanted it to. So it was it wasn't I wasn't really like super down after it. I was disappointed, obviously, but it passed fast, and I felt fine to stream. I don't have a like a certain approach and mentality towards it. It's just how it is.
Okay, no problem. And so that was all the questions we had on the Age of Empires, one of the Age of Empires Facebook group. The link is in the chat if anyone's interested in that. So now when the admins they ask me if I plug the group, I can say yes, I plugged the group. And okay, so now we're moving on to the official Age of Empires forums. Right. Some more good words here. You seem like a legitimately good person, and you're fun to watch and cheer for. So congratulations. Serious
Thank you.
question. What do you think the future of Age of Empires 2 is? Do you have any predictions?
I think it will continue regardless of AV4. I think that it will continue to have tournaments and just be a good streaming game still. Uh, I don't really know. A lot of it will depend on AV4, but
Right.
I can't see a world where AV2 is suddenly not popular. I think it will always be people streaming it. There will always be high level, top level players competing, and I think it has a good future still.
Nice. And oh, and so this is Franz the mug from AOE Zone. So they mention that they and their wife have a 16-month-old baby boy, and he starts laughing whenever they turn on your stream. So I guess yes, Viper helping to raise
Cool.
the next generation. And P.S. Can we crowdfund a rig for you to give to Debbie? I don't think you made it official, but you two seem pretty set with each other. So Debbie needs a rig, a
They
computer rig.
keep saying that apparently. I don't know.
I don't know.
A rig or a ring? What are they trying to
Rig.
say?
Oh,
Rig.
rig. Unless he misspelled ring here, but okay. What is all these? Enough marriage question, people. We don't have their personal business.
She has a pretty good rig already,
Yeah.
so I don't
Okay.
know.
So moving right along to woe is to who on AOE Reddit, the official Reddit forums again. How do you feel about the rate of the patches? Do you think they're coming in too fast?
I think the patches are fine. The current rate. If anything, I would have liked a little bit faster. Even it's been a while now. I mean, the first few months and probably the first year after the patches were more frequent. I feel like lately it has slowed down a little bit again. But it makes sense with the balance. They don't want to make too many balance changes at once anymore. They also don't have too many bugs to fix all the time. Um, I'm kind of fine with the way it is right now. I think it's at a good stage.
Okay. And what civ do you feel is the most underappreciated or overappreciated in the current state of the game?
Portuguese are underappreciated.
Of course.
They're really good. Actually, I think Italians might be
Oh.
underappreciated on land. I think they're a really good land civ compared to what people might think. Um, Overrated. It's a good question. I don't even know if we have overrated civs at the moment. Maybe Britons? Nah, not Britons. I don't know. I don't think there is any overrated civ.
Yeah. And they asked for 1v1s, do you prefer to be playing the Scouts Knights or Archer Expo in a matchup where both are represented? And why? Like, would you rather play the Scouts into Knights, or would you rather be the one playing the Archers into Expos?
It very much depends on what civs we are playing,
Okay.
but uh, probably no. It depends on the civ we're
Okay, it
playing.
depends. The
Yeah,
it depends finally comes out. It only took so long.
it's not so simple, man. It's not so
Yes, it's
simple.
fine. It's fine. That's the one thing noobs hate here, and I as a noob I can confirm. Um, what do you believe should be aimed for to survive an all-in Eagle flood in early castle? Geez, like this guy had some games if you want these specs about.
What should be aimed for, like as to
Yeah, I guess how you
like
counter
verse it?
an all-in Eagle in
Okay,
castle.
probably long swords is like the
Okay,
best answer.
yeah. Which I would have probably told them already, so they should just know that. Okay, trying to think about a good question here. I don't want to just ask a million noob questions. Strategy teams. That's probably a good one. Yeah. It's become commonplace to restrict tributes to allies before Castle, sometimes in Imperial Age. A tournament organizer's right for restricting slinging in team games before a certain point in the game.
Was the question just simply if slinging is it right that slinging is restricted?
Yeah,
Yeah, 100%. Slinging was so broken before they even addressed it, and I am also of the opinion that slinging is not good for the game because slinging pretty much means that one player is spending the whole game sending resources to another. And that's like, okay, we're playing a 4v4 and one player, that's the whole thing that one player is doing pretty much. That's, to me, that's not playing Age of Empires.
right.
A lot of people argue that it opens the door for more strategy opportunities, but I think it's way more fun when all players play the game because then you get more armies, you get more synergies between like players and compositions, and I think it's way more fun to watch 8 players going at it than 6 players where 2 of them are just like spending the whole game slinging.
Okay. All right. In DE, team positions were fixed, allowing players to guarantee a civ gets a pocket or a flank. How much has fixed pocket flank positions changed the meta? And do you think this is a good or bad thing?
That happened before DE though. They introduced that with the user patch, so we already had that before DE became a thing. I think it's good for competitiveness because too many games in tournaments were decided by a Mayans player or a Vikings player or Britons whatnot spawning in the pocket situation, while the other team had like perfect sit positions. So it only makes sense that it's now possible to
Right.
spawn in the correct spot to have a proper competitive match.
Okay. Do you feel like a court jester approach to teams like Suomi, who sometimes commit a player totally to disruption and distraction as early as possible, is very strong? Or do you believe that proper communication and good reactions should lead to a more standard strategy to have an edge? That's a long question. Got that.
Can you repeat the start? Do I feel like what?
Yeah, I guess do you feel like the approach of teams like Sumi where they just try to disrupt the
Okay,
enemy
okay, okay.
team?
Uh, it's a viable approach, right? Usually, we've seen that most with Suomi and SY. Like Lix would go YOLO, find time for his allies and such. I think it's a worse strategy. I think good reactions and good play should beat it, but it's always scary to play against. It has a lot of potential.
And okay, so that was woe is to who? Some really good questions there. That's from the official Age of Empires forums. And now we're going on to AoE zone. No questions from PKZ here, but I guess he could all just call you up if he has
I think
anything
he
he wants
knows
to know.
most things. Yeah.
All right. Felipe Leban asks, many dislike Watermax, lack of civ variety, very hard to come back, etc. Do you have any ideas on how to make it more fun to play?
I don't think so. I think water maps. It's funny. People hate water maps still, but it's also water maps are the best they've ever been in terms of like variation of units and civilizations. So it's like it's it's the best it's ever been, but some people still hate the guts out of it, right?
Right.
I don't really have any idea for how to change it for the better. I think it's fine the way it is now. It's still going to be a very niche uh, group of people that enjoy it.
Right.
I still think it's a crucial part of Age of Empires to have water maps involved. Um, yeah, I don't have any idea to make it more appealing to the masses.
Okay. And Simon San asks, if you could design your own competitive Age of Empires mode, like like random map, Empire Wars, DM, etc., what would it look like? Would it be like faster, start with more builds, Dark Age Empire Wars start, mirrored maps, etc., etc.?
I think it will be some sort of hybrid between random map and Empire Wars, where you don't kick off like immediately in Feudal Age with the action, but rather like somewhere in between to speed up the longer part of Dark Age.
Right.
Oof. Uh, To speed up the longer part of Dark Age. Wait, was that dog noises from your end?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
Don't worry, it's
So I'm
not
wondering
just
if you're
us.
out.
Don't worry
Okay.
about
No, all good.
it.
Um, yeah, just a way to speed up Dark Age a little bit, but at the same time, I don't want people to be thrown into like immediate feudal age, because then you don't have the time to like. Empire Wars is still it's a fun game mode to play by all means. I really like to play it, but at the same time, we still have really unfortunate map spawns in Empire Wars,
Right.
and you don't have any time to deal with that when you're just thrown into it right away.
Okay.
Well, if you were given another minute or two before action kicks off, maybe you would have time to like respond a little bit more to like a really bad map generation or things like that. So yeah, just somewhere in between, I would say.
All right. And damn dress. How do you turn this thing on? Well, Andrew, AoE zone again. Do you feel like Leary and Hera have separated themselves as the clear top two at the moment? And where do you rank yourself among the top players personally?
I think for Empire Wars, I think Lyra and Hera are definitely the top two at the moment. For random map, I think still that it's very, very close. I think I would say there's a top four there with me, Hera, Lyri, and Yo, where I think Yo is probably the weaker of the four if I was to rank, but I would say everyone else can beat everyone depending on the day.
Next question. How much time will you allow to AoE phone releases? Actually, I just want to skip that one, unless you want to answer.
How much
Uh,
time I will allow AoE for? Was that it?
yeah, how much time will you actually spend streaming AoE
Ah,
for?
as much as possible
Okay.
as soon as the game's out. How long that lasts, however, is a different story, right?
Okay, fair enough. And which AoE streamers other than team members do you enjoy watching the most?
AoE streamers. I don't really watch too much AoE streaming. I sometimes join like streams quickly for a minute or two to banter a little bit, meme around, or I watch some tournament games, obviously. But in general, I don't really watch much Age of Empires streams besides teammates.
All right. Do you
Who else? I really don't know.
do you ever spend any time watching like the live tournament games from like much smaller tournament streamers?
Smaller tournaments, I will watch like whoever is. Usually, I support the guy who's hosting the tournament. So if Memb is hosting King of the Desert, I'll watch the tournament on his channel for the most part. If T9 is hosting Hidden Cup, obviously I'll watch Hidden Cup on his, Nilly, NEC, so forth. And same goes for the smaller tournaments if
Right.
they stream in English, right? Like Ellie's Shared Invitational, I would watch her channel to support that because I like to support the hosts of the events
Yeah.
because I feel like they deserve a little bit of uh, recognition for their work.
Okay. And so now we're moving over to Reddit for the questions, and soon we'll get to the Twitch chat. So we try to go through these a bit faster here. Searching the silence ask, one of your strengths seems to be not only precision of execution, but also speed of decision making. How do you move past mid game indecision?
By gaining a lot of experience, aka playing a lot of games.
The last thing Age of Empire noobs want to do, unfortunately. A flying nun asks, how much do statistics regarding civ win rates against pros influence picks from pro players?
Zero.
Oh,
People don't look at stats. They feel the Civ. You don't look at stats or numbers, you just feel the Civ.
okay. Um, could you perhaps explain why pros insist a civ is good or bad despite the statistical performance saying otherwise? Guess it's kind of you answer that a bit. They feel it
Because they
out.
feel the Civ.
Right. They feel the civ. Okay. All right. A very interesting answer. Um, what is the best civ and why is it Malay? From Lohab.
On Arena, they're the best in my opinion.
Oh,
I wouldn't say they're the best overall, but I mean they're pretty good Civ. They might be
why?
underrated actually.
Why are they the best on Arena?
You should watch my top 5 Arena Civs video on YouTube, and you'll find out.
Oh, okay, a little plug for the YouTube. Well, you have a new tier list out? How long? How long has it been out?
Not a tier list. I just have like a top 5 Arena Civs video. I think we released it a few months back.
Oh, I
So
probably saw it and just forgot that I see it.
maybe.
I normally try to catch those videos. Um, Shun Seki one asks, how intimidated are you when facing off against the Lord Doubt himself?
You know, with Doubt, I think playing against Doubt is where I'm the most motivated in Age of Empires, because I know if I lose to him, the amount of banter that is coming my way from him is a whole nother level. So like that's my biggest fear, losing games against Doubt. Yeah, like Leary Hera, I'll try to win, of course, but when I meet Doubt, it's like next level dedication. I'll tell you, it's insane.
Okay, okay. Harold one asked, um, what aspect of the Ruby days and community do you miss that isn't present in now? I guess in DE.
Probably just like seeing a random lobby there with like a guy with a certain rating hosting, and just be like, okay, well, I'm joining, and then like suddenly you play 5 games in a row. Or maybe just like a random message, like you see a guy online, you message him, hey, want to play? He's like, yes, let's play.
Okay.
And then you play competitive ranked matches. That's probably
Man,
the biggest part I miss about
that does sound
Woobly.
nice actually. DE is
Yeah.
so alienating, it just sometimes I just play a man. Like earlier today when the games I was playing, none of us said anything to each other. Like there this one guy, he GG'd and immediately after he cursed me in Spanish. I was like, all right, whatever. Okay.
But it's the thing that like on DE now, sure you're in the queue and you're just in the queue, right? Back on Woobly, you were hosting a game and you were still like looking around on Woobly, the lobby. You could see who were online. You could message them, chat with them. All these small things were
Yeah.
I do miss a little bit of that, but of course I still think that the way it is now is probably better.
Let's see. Mantis AoE asks, do you think buildings, particularly houses, markets, and blacksmiths, have too much HP and contribute too much to walling?
Mm, I think yes and no. I think if they didn't have the HP, people would still wall with palisades anyway, and there would be like double palisade walls rather and often instead. Um, I feel like walls are kind of fine where they are right now, but yeah, I can understand why people might think that buildings in general have more HP. Like if you compare it to, for example, StarCraft 2, buildings can get destroyed so fast by just a regular unit. So there's some aspect of that, but at the same time, we're in the medieval age here, and walls are supposed to be a little bit stronger. I don't know. Yes, and no.
Okay. And then another question from Mantis AoE is, what do you think should be done about how do you think we could address the weaker civs on the spectrum?
I think just what they've been doing so far. They've been slowly buffing the weaker civs and giving them like these small boosts. Like some of the weaker, like Khmer, for example, they used to be probably on the lower end of the spectrum, but now they're like suddenly, since they got that farm decision made, suddenly Khmer were like top 5 civilization. They have been nerfed a little bit now to the point where they're probably a little bit more mid tier again, but just small things like that, right? Give them Vietnamese, for example, a great civ now. Used to be probably maybe even the worst. Koreans used to be one of the worst. They're a decent civ now. So just the issue though is that when you boost one of the lower civs, a new civilization
Right.
takes the place of that lower one. So
Yeah.
we're in a never-ending cycle there, no matter what. But I think what they're doing right now is good.
I like this last question I'm gonna ask from them is do you think AoE should have mostly the same balance or shake it up regularly like other competitive games like Overwatch and CS:GO?
That's something I have missed a little bit. Like when I saw StarCraft as well, for example. Like I played StarCraft 2 a little bit. there were patches that would like throw the whole balance off the charts all of a sudden. Like suddenly it would be like a whole different game almost, where you have to kind of rediscover the game. The same game you've been playing for a year, you suddenly have to kind of rediscover it, and that's something that I think is both cool and fun at the same, like fun and challenging at the same time. It's hard to do that with AV2 though. Cannot change too much,
Right.
but I do like that. I think the way the patches have been done so far since DE has been at a good pace, and I think that has made enough changes to keep the game fresh. And for me, regular patches and balance changes are important because I also feel like the game is fresh and there are new things to learn and new things to discover and new builds to try out, new units to like experiment with. So yeah, I think the pace of patches is good right now, and I like that there are updates. I wouldn't mind seeing more frequent those, such as League of Legends or Overwatch and whatnot.
Okay. Um, let's see. Do you think there are any other game modes like Empire Wars that are fun and could be added to the competitive tournaments?
Well, deathmatch is an option, but I feel like deathmatch is too much in the. It's too much over there, you know. It's like RM, Empire Wars, and the deathmatch is like over here. So it's like yes,
Right.
and but yeah, no, I don't think there are any other game like sudden death. I don't think so. Capture the relic, nah, doesn't feel competitive. Regicide is already competitive
Right.
in some scenarios, but yeah, I guess no.
Silvus underscore Silver asks, I'm losing my hair. How does that affect my strategy?
You losing what?
They're losing their hair. How does that affect their strategy? I'm assuming there's some sort of meme on your channel.
Well, more brain power. It makes room for more brain power, so I don't see a problem with that.
Right.
They should
Uh,
embrace it.
Nike Sneaker asks if there's a if you have a most memorable game series you've ever played.
Um, Maybe the Maldives final against Yo, or one of the King of the Desert finals against Leary. I think me and Leary played King of the Desert. It ended up 5-4. It
Right.
was like it was 4-4, and then I won the last game. And Maldives as well. I was down 2-0 in a best of 5 in the final, and I managed to come back and win 3-2. So
Oh, nice.
those might be the ones standing out.
Dinka underscore AOE asks, do you follow build orders or just play off the cup after the first 10 or so builds?
Off the cuff every time. I have a general idea of how many wheels should be here and there, and like, but it's mostly done on feel, and yeah, it's very much adapting. But of course, I have learned build orders in the past, and I have a general idea of how to do it, and based on my experience, I feel like I have the freedom to adapt it to make it more optimal for what I'm doing on the spot. By the way, I just wanted to say quickly as well on the previous question, we've had some insane team game tournaments as well, team game matches that stand out, like in the Battle of Africa with I think it was one. Yeah, like the also the final of Battle of Africa 2, 5-4 for Aftermath in the end, but that was an insane set. And we also had the crazy games against Suomi in the first Battle of Africa. So those team game events also stand out.
Okay. Oh, by the way, wait, I'm 3 views away from 1,000 followers on
Guys, slap that
Twitch.
follow button. Let's do it.
What should I do?
1,000 follows and 10 gifted subs from Debbie. Let's go.
What should? Oh, the 1,000 followers. Fred underscore 3357. What should I do for them, the Viper? What do you think?
Yeah, do you not have prepared this already? Like milestone
Well, I never
streams,
thought I would
things like
pass a
that.
thousand viewers. So I
Well,
never.
you're in the Caribbean, right? You should do like a pirate stream or something.
A pirate
That'd
stream.
be some.
That's a good idea. Okay, maybe I do it. Whatever that is. Maybe I just go steal a bunch of software and then uh, they watch me play the stuff I stole. Maybe. Okay. All right. Anyway, so thank you everyone for the 1,000 follows. But I must get back to the interview, of course. So let's see. Rubber Long ask. All right, you answered that already. Oh, if you had to
Oh,
choose,
I
who
got
is your
gifted a
more
sub. Woohoo.
Hey, Okay, nice. But that's a use, Mr. TheViper.
Yeah. Go
Um,
on, go on.
yeah. If you had to choose, who was your most interested opponent to play against and why?
Um, Probably Leary. Our play styles are a little bit different, and I've always felt like he has been the most challenging player to play against the last 3 4 years. So yeah, probably Leary.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
And because he has been the most challenging, like it's most interesting for me to play against the most challenging
right,
player for
of
me,
course.
and he has been that.
If you had to choose, which tournament do you enjoy the most?
Nils Apartment Cup.
Oh, nice. All right. And Rob Along, thanking you for all the entertainment and what you bring to the community. So there's been like a dozen, I got dozens of those comments, by the way, just unable to read them all. But a lot of thanks for being around, the Viper. Let's see. What they ask about Red Bull, but we asked about that already. Okay, so King Doubles XP asks, if you had to commit to an opening strategy before the game begins, without knowing what the enemy civ is on Arabia, what would you choose? I guess what civ would you choose and what would the strategy be? You couldn't know what the opponent is or what they're playing.
Chinese and Scouts.
Okay, all right. Um, right. Zamilian asks, do you feel that AoE is at its peak competitively, or do you feel like there was a time back when there was more of a competitive scene?
Nah, it's definitely at the peak
Right.
since the I would say.
Los Carlos 5678 at what is your favorite Age of Mythology 7? Why?
Oof. That's a long time since I played. What are the civs there even? I don't even remember the civs
I don't.
anymore.
I've never played it myself. That's before my time.
Um, nah, I don't honestly. I don't remember the name of the civs.
Right.
Obviously, I know Poseidon. Nah, I don't know. Don't have a favorite civ in mythology. It's been too long.
Okay. Lavaman 281 asks, how did you get so darn handsome?
I don't know,
Is that
but thank you.
Debbie's Reddit account?
It's Debbie's makeup. She puts on me.
Oh, okay. There's so many more questions on Reddit. I'm just gonna see if there's anything interesting. I'm gonna move on to the Twitch chat. Yeah, let's see. Can he? Okay, whatever that means. How do you fare Huang in
Yeah.
your everyday life? Well, some of these last questions seem to be a lot of dots anyway. Um, right. Thank you, Bogwan Franco and the Viper. Thank you. Um, oh my God. How do you Feli Pekel Daron one asks, how do you feel about AoE threads AoE zone threads constantly asking why you're not the best anymore?
Couldn't care less.
Let's see. As your nope, exit already. All right, so we're gonna move on from Reddit over to Twitch chat. I don't look too unprofessional in this interview, you know. I just wanna keep that veneer up. That's for as long as possible. Okay, so we're at the Twitch chat. There are literally 1 million questions in here. We're obviously not gonna be able to ask all of them. I know it's very late over by the Viper. And as he mentioned earlier, he has engagements with Debbie to see to later. So we're not gonna keep them too much longer again. So Paco AoE asks, will Viper play in his upcoming tournament or just cast it?
I hope I can play as well, but we'll see. The plan is to play.
Okay. Me Chanada asks, when is the Viper going to stream shitless in solidarity with his Brazilian bros?
Never.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, so Johannes 4468. This is actually the creator of the Ado Mandala mod, by the way. You know, the
Hmm.
Tower Range, yeah. He asked, have you ever
What was
gonna
his name
have
again?
It's Johannes 4468. Oh,
Okay,
Johannes,
let me just ban
Johannes.
that and gonna
Ah,
ban that in my chat.
oh, I'm sorry, Johannes. That's just how it is. Are you gonna do a fan meetup in Netspick anytime soon?
In where?
In Leipzig,
Oh,
Leipzig,
Leipzig, Leipzig.
something.
I was not planning on it, but now that I know that he's nearby, absolutely not.
I
No,
did.
but no, I haven't planned anything like that. I don't know how many people are in the area. I don't know how many people would come. I don't want to do like a T90 where he like says there will be a meet and greet and then he rents a place for 50 people and then 4 people show up. That would be a little bit
Ah,
awkward.
yeah, that'd be rough.
I don't remember the details, but I think there was a story like that back in the day. But no, I don't know how many people will be interested in things like that. I like the meetups to be like during bigger events when more
Right.
people have arrived. Like NAC has a great meetup scene, so to say. So yeah,
He was
I feel like
sorry,
mhm.
go on.
No, I was just gonna say I feel like also for myself to make a meetup for people come to see me. It feels weird to me. I just it
Yeah, you
doesn't
know,
strike me the right way.
as we've established earlier, don't want to embrace that celebrity
Yeah,
status just yet.
it
Okay,
feels
at a
weird.
million Twitch subs, I mean, then you have to.
A
You have no
million,
choice,
yeah, on
then.
a
You have to
million,
get the million.
a million Twitch subs, I will do meet and greet over the whole world,
Okay.
every town, every city, everywhere, every country.
Now, I don't know. I tagged you on Twitch. He was my third interview ever, and he mentioned on that he actually lives, I think, in the same town as you in Germany.
Ah, okay,
Yeah, and he mentioned he
cool.
wanted to meet up after Corona. So I'm just gonna plug that in there for him, you know, in honor of him having been on the stream. Let's see. Debbie asking about needing the rig, which was a very weird moment. Um, some Z G man, a lot of X's and J's in here. Why Open Classic name? I'm guessing that's the tournament name, right?
Yeah, me, Ornlu, and Krajini sat down to think about the name. I went through, like, I asked on Twitter, like, for suggestions.
I saw that.
We went through all of them. Nothing struck us the right way, or struck us the right way. Obviously, it was like the snake pit is what makes sense. But at the same time, it's like I've used the snake pit for like my subs for a while.
All right,
And also, I don't want the tournament to be like, oh, people think of this tournament, they think of the Viper. I don't
right.
like the snake pit will be too much correlated to my brand. Um, I want it to be a tournament that kind of stands on its own feet to a certain extent. That when people think about that tournament, they just think, oh, the Open Classic, oh yeah, that's so cool, or things like that. But and like hopefully it can be like a maybe it can be a second edition and third edition in the future. And who knows if there's ever a situation where I'm not around and want to do that anymore. Maybe someone else wants to take over, and then it's better that the tournament isn't branded after me
Okay,
as well. So,
okay. Very
uh,
nice.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty much it.
Your problem was
But
you
yeah,
went on Twitch for a name. So I'm gonna dirty
yeah.
plug the Facebook group again. Next time go to Facebook. The groups in the
Yeah.
chat.
No, but the Open Classic was more like we were trying to come up with names and like what what's the theme of the tournament. The
All
theme of
right.
the event is pretty much like classic settings, classic maps, and like so it was like okay, well, trust me, we discussed name for probably an hour at least to like and come up with so many different names, and we looked at what the names are from other tournaments and other events and whatnot, and just in the end, it just like something simple, the Open Classic. Sure, let's go for it.
We
Yeah, that was the hardest part, honestly, figuring out the name for a
right.
tournament.
Okay. Well, I like the name by the way, so it's no problem with me.
I do as well. I think it's a nice one.
Yeah. And I just want to point out Debbie in my chat, like even plug in my YouTube. It's where she's been like an admin here for a year. So thanks again once again to Debbie. Stutter Dirty to Me asks, since you're into football, which team will win the Euro?
England. It's coming home.
Okay. All right. I don't follow it, so I'll assume that means something. All right, nice. Um, Viper Cream asks, how often do you want to have a team game tourney ideally?
I would say there a good ratio would be three only one S tier events. and then one team game. It's like 3-1. So every fourth big S tier tournament, I would like to be a team game tournament.
Okay, nice. Canucks INDC2. Another bald question here, by the way. Who on GL will be the first to go bald?
Me.
Oh no. Okay. All right. Is it a monkey ask? Hera or Leary? Who was the hardest to kill?
I think they're very, very even at the moment. I've always felt that Lear was more threatening, but Hera obviously is making a really good statement for himself as well these days. So asking me to pick between the two of them is really hard at the moment. Um, I think Leary edges it out slightly because of Empire Wars.
Right. And Great Brown Hope asks, does Viper ever get tired of all the casters always talking about him used to being in the finals and winning, etc., instead of them focusing on the healthiness of the competitive scene right now?
I don't hear that very often, but then again, I don't hear all the talk around my matches very often, so that makes sense. But when I'm watching, I think they do a good job on focusing on how healthy the scene is right now.
Okay.
So I don't. So I guess the answer is no, no.
All right. And Bo Simia asks, there's no way I pronounce that correct. What kind of game mechanics would you add to AoE 2 DE?
In mechanics, I would love them to just improve the quality of life, like just regular things. But maybe like so shift queuing is properly fixed. It's there's still issues with the shift queuing that bugs me.
Right.
So probably that queue commands.
Okay, okay. And oh, Dave AoE was in here to defend the name of the casters, saying we're putting words into their mouths. Okay, well played, Dave. Seahorse Gallop. I guess this is more of a comment than a question. Great interview as always, Gwen Franco. Thank you. And thanks, Viper, for being part of the community. Rest up and sort out your risks. You would also make a great life coach. Oh, there we go. Oh, okay,
My
maybe.
future is ahead of me, so who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Um, let's see. Viper Cream again. We already asked a question from Viper Cream. J Baxty asked, what civ are you most excited about in Age of Empires 4?
The issue with answering this is I would also leak certain parts of the game. So let me just
Okay.
say Mongols and don't ask why.
Okay, fair enough. And John Sylvanus. Again, no, that's not a question. Cape AoE asks, what's the Viper's favorite World Cup in his lifetime?
Probably the last one because that's the only one I remember.
The last one, how long ago was that again?
2.5 years or 3 years.
Yes. Okay. 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 Um. So a question here from Peter Banane. Will you stream your chess training or are you training at all?
I haven't trained anything yet. I might play some games on stream tomorrow or Wednesday. Uh, but yeah, we'll see. I don't know the level of my opponent. So if you don't know, I'm taking part in a tournament setting, a tournament hosted by Rocket Beans in chess. So that's what he's referring to. I don't know the level of my
Okay.
opponents, so I don't really know how serious I should take it,
Okay.
if it's worth training, etc. But I'll probably play some chess on stream. Yeah.
All right. Excellent. Well, one more tournament to clap him in. And let's see. JK Incredible One asks, is Moonfaller the most talented player you have ever seen?
Yes.
All right, there we go. Um, Any elaboration on that? I think I've seen some of the stream.
He's a great guy, really positive attitude, and yeah, highly recommend to watch him. If you want to have a
Yeah,
good time, go to Moonforest stream.
excellent. Well, that's an excellent plug there. And Zay Kurama asks, could you ever do another job again? After having done the dream job that is streaming.
I probably could, but I don't think I would enjoy it as much as I'm doing now.
Okay.
So yes,
Okay. Life coach. The next foray
I
for the
don't
life.
think I would enjoy it as much as I do this, but who knows?
Okay, let's see. Next question. Gioma asks, do you have a date for your hand operation? I don't know if you want to.
I don't have a hand operation scheduled, nor do I think I will do one because the doctor told me that operation is not really on the table here.
Synapse16 asks, is it true the Viper picked up? Yes, it's true. He picked up from his dad. If yes, what's your favorite memory involving playing with your dad?
One thing that stands out to me is that when I learned about Archer Blood back in the day, Amazon Gaming Zone, I played some Archer Blood scenario,
Oh,
and I remember, like, I was just a kid. I remember because we had multiple PCs. My uncle was visiting, so me and my dad and my uncle played Archer Blood together, and I don't remember much of it, but I just remember that I was so happy during that. Like, it was just so fun for me to be able to play with both my uncle and my dad, like playing Archer Blood, something like that. Um, I just remember that I was really happy there and then. I don't remember too much details regarding that, but just yeah, I really liked it.
okay, okay. Very nice and very wholesome. And Zay Kurama asked a similar question actually. How you've they said you've been the best for a long time. How was that like for your family and friends? Something. Don't know if we can make some
Well, I
comment.
mean, so regarding my family, obviously my dad knew or know that I've been quite good for a while. My cousins and such, they also watch some streams and like follow some games now and then. My brothers, obviously, sister knows a little bit, but obviously my family knows that I'm good at this video game, right? But it's not like it changes anything about our relationship or anything.
Right.
So nothing has really changed. Friends, obviously, like being a part of a football team, there's a lot of banter and like such involving gaming and being the best and things like that. But yeah, nothing really changes. It's just what it is, right?
Okay, very nice. And once again, thank you for all the new followers. I think when I started the stream, I was at like 875. And so I gained like over 200 followers just talking to the Viper. That's how
20%
massive
growth.
your
Let's go.
that's how massive your gravity is in the AoE2 community. Anything you
No,
touch just
it's Debbie's call to action in the chat.
yes. Do Mansa Musa, who was like the richest guy who ever lived? They said that
Who?
Mansa Musa, I think one of the Ethiopian kings or
Okay.
Malian king, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Um, it was said like whenever he visited a town, he would just like destroy the economy because he would just leave so much gold in presents that
Hmm.
it would just tank the economy. And you're kind of like the Mansa Musa of AoE, anywhere you go, it's like followers follow. So that's
I
yeah.
can't take credit for that, but
Nah,
for sure.
okay. It's also my charm, I'm also a charming
Yeah,
guy as
that's it.
well.
Your fabulous green screen.
Oh yeah, you can see the green screen this whole time. Oh my god.
Yes.
And you see the window, the circular window in the back there?
Hmm.
So I stream on Discord sometimes when I'm playing with, in the official AoE Discord. Anytime somebody comes in like, are you on a ship? I'm like, no, just
Yeah,
like,
that's what it looks like, right?
and they're
You're a
like, oh,
pirate, though, right?
god damn it. And they're like, oh, your window's so cool. I'm like, I didn't make it. I just rent here, man. Like,
Now
you
you
guys
know
can
what you
see it on
do
the stream. What do I do?
for your a
Oh
thousand follower
no.
stream. You make like a cannon, that you see in the pirate movies, and you
And I
stick it
put
next
it.
to the window. Yeah, and then yeah. Then you put a
Oh my
pirate
god.
costume, and there you go. 1,000 follower
Okay.
goal sorted.
Now I gotta get better at my ads and crafts now then. All right. Anyway, so moving right along. Somebody asked how big the problem with your hand is. I think you could have answered that already. Don't want to rehash that. Saps asked, do you miss Hanwars?
Yeah, but then I'll play 5 of them, and then I don't miss them anymore. Yeah, it's fun to have them mixed in now and then. Yes.
Yeah. I don't know what Hanwars are, by the way. So take your word for it.
Well, it's just like Hunts Against Hunts on like
Oh,
Arabia, pretty much.
okay. That sounds okay.
It was like the
That's
only
that's
thing people
fun.
played in the past. Like it was only Hunts Against Hunts every time on Arabia. That was the only thing.
Okay, that's odd. And let's see. Jack Woodson said survivalists increased almost 100 elo from coaching others. How could the lefty series benefit your normal game? And how high elo might you get?
Lefty series will not affect my other normal game in any way, any positive way anyway. How high elo we can get? It depends on how used I get to my left hand, right? I reckon 15, 1600 should be within reach. Maybe
Okay.
higher if I get accurate and like smooth. The biggest issue I have right now is like more that clicking the right hotkeys with my right hand on the keyboard. That's the whole getting the whole. I don't have. There's no coordination between right
Right.
hand and keyboard and left hand and mouse at the moment. So all that has to improve a lot. But I think 1500, 1600 might be within reach.
Wait, what are you right now?
I only played 6 or 7 games. And it's all been like placement matches. I won
Oh,
every game,
okay,
but
okay.
I haven't been like. I don't have a proper rating yet, I would say.
Man, if you pass me on the ladder with just your left hand Viper, I'm gonna rage quit. I'm gonna go back to play some Call of Duty or something.
There's been a few guys already experiencing the lefty. So
Oh
we'll see.
no. Yeah. I might actually meet you on ladder. Is that what you're saying?
What
You might have
what is
clapped
your
me
ELO?
already.
What's your
I
ELO?
was like 1270 before I
Oh
lost
yeah,
like
we
3, 4
can
games in a row.
we can probably meet.
God damn it. Thanks. Okay, and let's see. Movable 35 ask. Um oh, he asked for the name, but yeah, he missed it. Let's see. Who right. Come what ask, who in your opinion has the most natural talent in Age of Empires?
Natural talent. What is natural talent? Moonfaller.
Woodfall? Okay. Yeah. So I guess that'll be a good stream for us newbies to watch. To see how
Yes.
Moonfall rises to the top. So do you think so I guess you're looking out for him in like the top 100?
Isn't he already there?
Oh,
Like
he's
I
there
think
already?
give him another week or two, and he's probably like top 10.
Jesus. That's a lot of confidence you got there, life. Okay.
But when you watch, when sometimes it's like if you watch Messi play football, you can just see the talent, right?
Right.
And it's the same with Moonfaller. It's just like you kind of get blown away.
It's the exact opposite of watching me play, by the way. You look at it and you say, like, what's this guy doing? He anyway.
I haven't seen you play. I probably should see if I get that
um,
sensation.
in 3 years, like give me 3 years, and then you could watch me play a match.
Sure. 3 years we do a show match, left
I
hand against you.
I was gonna ask you to do that right after the stream though, but I don't know if you had energy for that. Actually, I had a friend in the top 500, and he told me he thinks in a year and a half I could probably be top 500 myself. So maybe there's hope for me. Huh?
Well, you say you only played for like a year, right?
Yeah, I've only been playing for
Y-
a year.
Yeah. So I mean, what 1200, 1300?
Yeah,
That's a good level for 1 year. So
okay.
obviously depends how much time and dedication you have and how much like how good your basis is for RTS games. But you never know, right?
You never know. All right, so 12 underscore R asked, Viper, could you ensure your risk or other vital body part, insurance since you're, I guess, people
I
insure
guess
it.
I could probably ensure that, yes, but I haven't.
And he says here, For example, Beyonce hasn't showed her booty for millions. Didn't even
Yeah.
know that, but okay. Let's see. One Oho asks, do you think the pros ever overcommit to walling in too many games, or is it justified because of the meta?
Watch NBL play, and you'll see committal to walls too much. 75% of the games. So yes.
Okay. Um, Tana underscore Tana asks, at the moment, it's not that simple. Has there ever been a time where it's actually been that simple?
It was way simpler back when top civs were top civs, and there was like only like 2 or 3 options. Like Aztecs, Huns, Mayans were like the only civs to be played. Then it was simple. Now it's not so simple.
Invincible Gonna asks, why did you come up with a decision to use the classic maps for this tournament? And the thought, sort of how you got onto that route.
It was more like a personal preference as well in terms of what are we missing right now, and like what do I want to play right now? What do I think other people want to play? And it was like we have a lot of gimmicky events these days, like it's Empire Wars, a Hidden Cup, King of the Desert is only like one map. What are we missing? Like I miss NEC for example, right?
Right.
And nearly already confirmed there will not be NEC 4 this year. And what was NEC really good for? Like variety of maps, good quality, variation, a little bit of everything. So I was like, okay, what do we not see much these days? It's the variety of maps in random map that aren't overly gimmicky. So it was like, okay, classic maps like Arabia, Arena, Red Fortress, Gold Rush, all these things came to mind, and I wouldn't rule out still that 1 or 2 maps might be added to give more diversity to the map pool. But yeah, just wanted to play classic settings and like have a classic AoE weekend. And also in the draft, there's no civ ban in the draft.
Right.
So like we wanted to let people play the best civs and like be able to play with the civs they draft. So
Right.
yeah, just a little bit of more of a simple setup, and just let people like brawl it out pretty much.
Okay, very nice. You have a question here. How did I just? Oh, do you remember the feeling when you first realized that you were better than the Lord?
I don't remember that specific feeling, but no, I don't. No, I was there. It was a thing that came slow and steady. Uh, Whether I'm better than him right now is a different story, right? He has won more S tier tournaments than me lately.
Right.
So yeah, but obviously 7, 8 years ago, uh, at some point I did pass him and felt good because he was obviously the goat of Age of Empires, and the question was there: how serious is he taking things? But still, obviously felt good.
Okay. So we're coming up to the last few questions because unfortunately the interview can't last forever, Even though I know many people are enjoying it, but we will both start to get fatigued very soon, if not already. Su Botai asks, when devs introduce balance changes, do they consult the pros or do they just do it themselves?
A lot of the times they have like a lot of the feedback has been given by the pros to begin with. So a lot of the changes are based off of feedback, but they do also do things themselves, so to say, without us having given feedback and things. But to their credit, they do like post a list of potential changes before they commit to them, and they ask for feedback on those. And then we will give feedback, and then they will decide kind of whether they go for it or not. Um, so a little bit of both.
Okay. And I think maybe this should be the last. Oh my God, we got so many more questions. Oh, we have so many more, but like we can't get to all of these. How many more questions do you think you want to entertain for today?
And do like 5 more, I think should be fine.
Okay, we do like five more. And I accidentally scrolled up. Where the hell was I? God damn it. Just give me one sec. Somebody asked something about a 24-hour stream. Could I search here? If I remember over the top of my head, it was You promised a 24-hour stream and you did not deliver. I guess they were asking why not, and or well, when are they getting it?
If I promised it, it was probably if we reach X amount of subs. I don't think we reached that amount of subs. So I don't think I have promised and not delivered. If they have proof that I did, bring it forth and I will do a 24-hour stream.
Yes.
But now 24-hour streams are so draining, and especially when you're getting old, it's harder and harder to do.
Right.
But yeah, who knows? Maybe in the future. Like I'm planning like with AW4, I'm probably gonna do like a super long stream on release day. But 24 hours, I feel like 24-hour streams just screws up the next 5 days. So I kind of am more inclined to drop 24-hour streams and rather do like some more special events, or like let's say like 3 days in a row, 15 hours or something, rather than like one 24-hour.
Right. I almost doubted myself there. Oof. But we don't worry about that. We'll not go into that. Legion of Loom, fellow AOE streamer on Twitch here, asks, how do you prevent tilting and how do you detilt if it's happened already? Asking for a friend, Kappa.
um, it's hard to give advice on that. Like I think tilting comes in different ways as well. One thing is you tilt just because you lose. Another one is you tilt because you feel like you're playing bad. Another tilt is that you've had like really bad luck, maybe at a hole in the wall or something, but otherwise you're playing great. So it comes in different shapes and forms. But I don't really have advice on that in general. It's something that each person has to like figure out how to deal with themselves and just understand why are you getting tilted and should you get tilted from this,
Right.
and then kind of have like a round with yourself on that. Like, is this something I should get tilted about? Why is it tilting me? How do I fix it? So forth. I don't know. It's really hard to give advice on that.
Okay. And BS Hammer asks, who is the scariest opponent on the ladder and why is it Huang?
Wang. Oh, me.
There we go.
Wang is scary, man. It is every game. You know what's happening, and you still have to try and deal with it. And it's just it's scary, but it's fun. It's fun.
Okay. A question for me that Kuma asks, how do I feel? Is he asking you that or is he asking me that? How do you feel, dude? Is that for me or for Viper? Well, I'm gonna assume it's for me. I feel great. Thanks for asking. And okay, next question. I think we're up to three or four more. Da-da-da-da. Do you have a pros? Oh, Cataphracts ask, do you have a pros only WhatsApp group?
No,
Okay, so you don't have like a secret cabal. You guys don't meet under the moonlight.
no.
Okay, no AoE
We only
Illuminati.
have like
Okay.
a Discord channel with my team, but no, there's no pro WhatsApp group. Maybe there
T
should be.
Team Kalsa ask, do you do map design? If not, why?
I do not. I don't know how to do it, and I don't really have interest in doing it.
Okay. Somebody asked, I remember the question in my mind. It was, are we gonna see any more team tournaments where people play with other players not of their own team?
Depends if you want the tournament to be competitive or not. Like those things are fun to do for show matches or smaller events, but you cannot have like a full-fledged big team game tournament and ask people to play with random people that they don't normally play with.
Okay.
So
All right. Okay. So that was a lot of questions. So I think we could happily end there. It's very late for Mr. TheViper over there. And the last thing before we wrap up is, the minigame. I know you're familiar, Viper. You've seen minigame in action. And I've thrown in some curveballs because I know
oh
you
boy.
as a person, you see this thing once or twice, you already become a pro at it. So I couldn't have your natural talent just defeating the game too easily. The
Come
rules
at me.
The rules are simple. You got you got 5 seconds to answer any question. I will just go over to the next question if you just take too long. But I will
Okay.
leave some time, so some language barrier issues. I got my accent, English is not your
Yeah.
first language, is it?
Sorry?
Is English your first language?
No, it's not.
Okay, right, there we go, so yeah, I there's some flexibility in there for things like that. But all right. And then of course feel free to skip any questions. Remove one sip from the game.
Skip. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Burgundians.
Remove one unique unit from the game.
Costelier.
If you could add one country to AoE, which country would you add? One
New
civ.
Zealand.
Okay. Um,
Australia. Sorry, Australia.
would you rather never being able to pick your civ or never being able to pick your map?
Map.
Okay. What's your favorite civ?
Mer.
What's your favorite tech?
Double crossbow.
Trebuchets or catapults?
Trebuchet.
Would you rather fight one angry large boar or 10 angry goats?
I'll probably take the boar.
Okay. Who's your favorite pro player?
Out.
Who's your favorite streamer?
Debbie.
Arena or Mega Random? Good answer, by the way. Arena or Mega Random?
Mega random.
Okay. Pick one player to never lose a game against ever again. Hera?
Out.
It
Oh,
wasn't even on the
I didn't know
list.
there were options. I didn't know there was a
Okay.
list.
Well, Hera, Mr. Yo, Jordan O'Leary.
Jordan.
Okay. Burgundians or Sicilians?
Sicilians.
Reddit or AoE zone?
AoE zone.
Okay. Now remember, you can skip any question you don't like. This one is a bit controversial, so I don't want you to feel like you know,
Sure.
Joan of Arc.
Well, Debbie is wearing the costume.
Oh, there we go. The color blue or cyan?
Cyan.
Who's harder between a Huskarl and an Eagle Warrior?
The Husker is way hotter.
Kill, marry, smash.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan, Doubt, Leary.
Kill, Doubt, Smash, Leary, and Mary Jordan.
Okay. Deathmatch or Empire Wars?
Empire Wars.
Okay. Mill Franks?
Yes.
There we go. Good man. Land Nomad or Water Nomad?
Land Nomad.
Age of Mythologies or Age of Empires 3?
Age of Mythology.
StarCraft or Command and Conquer?
StarCraft.
Fortnite or Halo?
Fortnite.
Okay, all right, there we go, there we go. Very good, very good. Okay, okay. I threw a little curveballs there for you, so you saw, but I think you made it through all right. And some will say you won, others will say you lost. I'm not here to decide. It's up to the
Well, I
people.
said nerf Franks, so maybe we'll see what happens
Oh,
after the interview.
you won to me. You're already a winner in my mind there. So, all right. Well, that's it. Thank you for joining me, the Viper. It's been almost 3 hours. This is my longest interview yet. I think
Hey, no. Stop.
uh
Stop it.
today Debbie have chosen violence.
Yes, every day.
Okay. Yeah, so definitely a great interview. We had a lot of fun. A lot of curveballs in there, especially from Debbie. And thank you everyone
Yes.
who followed today. I mean, I had like over 200 people follow, at least, or almost 200. That's pretty crazy. Thanks for the Viper community for joining in. Thanks for everybody on Reddit, Facebook, AOE Zone, and the Age of Empires official forum. Once again, the link to the Facebook community is in the chat if anybody still uses that website and wants to participate. And thank you, Viper, very much for coming on here today. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me from my pirate
No
ship.
worries. No worries. I had a great time. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And okay, now I did mention I wanted to challenge you to a 1v1, but I don't know if you're too tired.
I don't have it in me right now. Sorry.
Okay, that's all right. One, I'll meet you on the ladder anyway, you know.
Well, probably.
All right. Well, at the end of these, I probably should do something after the interviews, but I normally just like to rate someone. Do you have any picks?
See who is
Who do we
streaming.
rate today?
Who is live? MBL is live.
Oh,
You should
Bean
ring
Dip is
Bean Dip
live.
if you want to have her.
Yeah.
If you want to have her on the show.
Yeah, that's a good idea. All right. So, anything you want to say before we head out, Mr. The Viper?
Oh, just thanks for all the love, and I mean, I'm receiving so many messages as well regarding my wrist as well. I haven't. There's too many to answer, so
Right, of
it's a
course.
difficult one. But yeah, just thanks for all the support. Thanks a lot for all the love, and thanks again for having me on the interview. And yeah, I'll see you guys around.